please like, subscribe, and comment, even if it's just with an emoji. It's a free way for you to support the channel, and for me, it might bring in some money from all the commercials they keep putting on my videos. Or if you're feeling super generous, check out my Patreon or Ko-fi. I've got links in the description. Or you can hit the money heart thanks button down below. Now, let's get to it. Hey, this is the Sword and the Pen Reflections. Let me know if you can hear me because I've set up a different sound thing back here. But good to see everybody. There's a few people in the chat I want to say hi to, but before I get to that, I just really quickly want to say to Scott2, who gave me a super chat in the last live stream, and for some reason, I missed it, and I feel so bad about that. But I had a message for you. I didn't see a response, so I'm just going to read that response to you right now before we get going. First of all, I apologize for missing your super chat and wanted to let you know that I read the first 2.5 books. I recognize that they are well written. I enjoy the world. And I think I was just a little annoyed at the main character. I wanted him to be more charismatic and less complaining. Oh, we were talking about the Farseer trilogy, by the way. But I am interested in finishing the series. I think I didn't put more effort into finishing it simply because I wanted the MC to be something other than he was, which was basically just my own personal preference. But yeah, I seem to recall feeling like I didn't want to cheer for him a whole lot, and it was a bit annoying, but I know I can recognize the quality of the world building and the writing in that series. So it's one, if I had more time, I definitely would have completed or gone back to at this point already. And I don't know, maybe I'll get a bee up my bum and have to go and finish it up. But it is one that I did enjoy it. I enjoyed the world and I wanted to complete it, but it just didn't like that main character enough to really want to put the effort into when I was running out of time. So, okay, that was for you, Scott, too. And hopefully you're here to hear that. If not, maybe you'll catch this in rewatch. But I want to say hello to everybody who's here. We've got Yala O. Says, it's hard to lurk when you have the first message just waiting to be said. Well, you said it, so there you go. Philip Greasel, you have failed at lurking. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. I gave you eyeballs for that one. Actually, that was more for Yala O. Yala O said, I had to. First message made me do it. Philip Greasel says, you see, you've been spotted. Yeah, see, we're watching. I can watch all of your guys' comments when I'm setting things up, and I'm really tempted to always respond, but I'm usually setting stuff up back here and trying to make sure my lights are not going to be reflecting off my glasses too much and stuff. Robert Cabis says, good evening. Hello. M says, hello. And that is one freaky looking emoji. That's slightly disturbing. Tiki Dale says, hello, hello. Christopher Lambert, hey, how's it going? I saw your alternative to super chats in Ko-fi. I hope you got the responses to those. I think you did for one. I'm not sure if you got the other one. I saw two, so thank you. Summit, is it time? It is. Prater's in. Not sure how much of this I'll be able to catch live. I already have 2 live streams every Sunday night, and this makes 3. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. I wanted to do this basically just to have something to follow up on episode 7, because I've been trying to kind of get caught up with getting a live stream out to cover the episodes I have not given a full release for, and this is the last one before the finale. Summit says it. Summit says, I can hear and see. Demigord, how's it going? Says, yep, we can hear you. I hope it's nice and loud. Philip Greasel says, I can hear you. Dark Wolf 375, hello. Summit, cute hair. Thanks. For those of you who are in my Discord, you know that I did this without heat. I use these curling things for your hair, and I look a little crazy for about 4 hours while I'm waiting for my hair to dry. Evil Kitty in a sweater says, this episode is bad. You know what? There were a couple things in it that I liked, but overall it just felt a bit lackluster for me. That's my general takeaway from it. Was I was kind of like, all right. And also the way that it ended, I'm going, how the heck are they going to bring this around? I thought that they were like, oh, we're putting everything back on track to be more the way it is in the books. This did not end the way that it ends in the book, so I don't know what they're saying here. Demigord says, but your hair looks weird. What happened to all that cool stuff you had in it earlier? Oh, you liked that? Oh, you were in my Discord. Robert Cabis says, I love the Farseer books. I have read most of them. I haven't read the live ship novels in the Farseer world. I've heard that that's where I should have started. That if I was going to read Farseer, I should have started with live ship, because it's just a little bit more in my style. It's more of an adventure. And I think that's maybe what I was looking for. It was very angsty and depressing, what we were getting in the early, at least what I read so far of Farseer, which, like I said, I think it's the first 2 books. Let's see. Praterzen says, read The Realm of the Elderlings. Live Ship Traders is much better than Farseer. You guys are saying it, not me. And I mean, I am saying it too. I'm saying it having not read them yet and being able to make that judgment. I'm saying I've heard that. M says, oh yeah, the hair is doing everything. Thank you. Demi Gord, Farseer books are my least favorite, most disliked books I've read as an adult. The protagonist and Crown Prince deserve to die. Ooh, that's harsh. But I've said it myself about Moraine. She should die. And I think she will. I hope she will in this season. M says, it's appropriate. It's all the caffeine. It's 2 a.m. Are you talking about my hair again? Kristen Brooks, hello. My brother and I love listening to all your videos. I think you have great commentary and ideas. Well, thank you very much for watching, Kristen, and your brother as well. I try to be fair. I mean, sometimes my personal opinion gets thrown in with my objective criticisms of the show. But I mean, how can you not let some personal disappointment seep in when you've read the books and you go, you know what, there were opportunities for improvement. They could have actually improved a few little things in this. I consider this like it would be my exposure to a second draft. Like that's the opportunity that they had with doing a show. But they didn't even improve on the things they could have improved on. And they just, the things they changed, they made worse. Oh, it's such a disappointment. It's really sad. Anyway, I don't want to get too worked up about it. Praterzen says the episode had some good moments in it, but they pale in comparison to the book plot. This is true. Kaleidoface says, I found it to be aggressively meh. Aggressively meh. Yeah, that seems about accurate. Yeah, it's aggressively meh. Ghosty Ghost says, doesn't Loial die? He's falling forever into a black abyss in the ways. But I have a feeling if they ever need him to come back, they'll just have him like, oh, I just landed on another path that was, further down and ended up popping out somewhere on the far side of the world. And it just took me forever to get to a setting and then come back to you. Yeah. Oh, they killed him again. They killed Loial again. And I don't know if they're going to bring him back. I don't know how important he is beyond book 6 because I'm at the starting point of book 6 and I haven't made much progress because I spend all my free time editing. And yesterday I was out working in the field. How weird was that? My feet are still killing me. Let's see. Summit says the worst thing about Ep 7 was Amber had been promised a montage and she told us all about it and we didn't get it. Yeah, I saw it. I think that was one where I saw just one review, but somebody said there's this really long montage where they're like preparing for battle. There was no montage at all. As far as I could see, no montage. I missed my montage. Sure would have liked that. The Undermole Gaming, the first time catching one of your streams, but I've been following your Wheel of Time breakdown since you started. Well, welcome to the live stream. Is it Thundermole Gaming? The Undermole Gaming? It looks like it could be either one of those, the Undermole or Thundermole. Let's see. Praterzen says, Fitz not shutting the F up about Molly for a single solitary second is annoying, but he gets better later. I'm going to sneeze any second here. Nope, not. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. I seem to recall him, the way he was just so frustrated with their relationship or their non-relationship that definitely was a relationship. And then it was very, spoiler for anybody who hasn't read it. So cover your ears for about 5 seconds here. He got her knocked up and doesn't seem to be aware of it at all, even though it's all over the page. And I don't know how dumb you got to be. But I guess he could be just like he was so sheltered and innocent, but somebody should have told him because somebody would have noticed. Paul Z, the whole Lord Perrin thing happens after the battle, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, they were calling him Perrin Golden Eyes. Were they ever calling him Lord Perrin Golden Eyes before that? I think they were, and he told them not to, if I recall. Like in the episode, I mean. But yeah, I'm not really sure why they referred to him as the Lord when he didn't really lead the town except in 2 instances. One where he stood in front of everybody and was like, oh yeah, we should like join, or we should all get together because we stand a better chance against the Trollocs. And that was several episodes ago. But then we never really saw him like organizing everybody. And then in this episode, he goes to the gate and identifies the Tuatha'an. And I'm like, why are people looking to him as the leader at this point? He should have been out there doing what he was doing in the books, which is convincing the families, you need to come in to, you guys are going to be vulnerable out here, convincing them to come further in. I actually commented on this in my episode 3 review, which I'm still editing. I know it takes forever to do this, guys. I'm so sorry. But I comment on that part of his speech being, it was the thing that was a very strong argument, and it was an argument that was specific to the Two Rivers people who he loves and grew up with, that they would respond to. He has to convince them to abandon their livelihood. They might starve to death, but he presented them with the alternative, which is, well, okay, maybe let's say you do save your farm. You're going to lose your kid. You okay with losing a child? Because you can't regrow a child. You could regrow your crops, but not a child. And that was such a powerful argument that it did bring people into town to kind of fortify themselves there and say, we got to wait this out, basically. Okay, I got to catch up a bit here. Drew ID. Hello, I'm new here. Well, hello, Drew ID. Came here because the last episode broke me. It was so bad. Yeah, the ending especially baffles me. I really cannot understand why, like, they were so adamant. Once again, nobody should ever fall for it when they say, oh, we're being way more faithful to the books, because that does not happen. I'm sorry, but yeah. Paul Z, Wolf Dreams, Slayer. Now we got a further study of Aes Sedai mating habits, including figs. Yeah. And I comment on this in my 3rd episode review as well, that if you wanted to do a side quest story, make it its own show. If you want to be like, okay, we're going to do a show that takes place in the world of Wheel of Time, but it's not centered around the story of the Wheel of Time. It's just a new story, and you want to tell the story of Alana and these 2 warders. You want to take a lot of creative liberties and explore the dynamics of a throuple. Fine, but you don't do it in Perrin's story. Like this show, this episode especially, this whole anything happening in the Two Rivers should have been Perrin's. It should have been about him coming to power, and it wasn't about that at all. That was the side story. We just kept coming back to Alana and Maxime, and I'm like, why are we wasting time here? Anyway, okay, clearing the fog. Hello, episode 7. Future problem created. Loial just taught the Shadow how to destroy every major city. Just send someone to the Waygate with a big hammer. Instant nuclear explosion. Was that explosion that big? Oh, you know what? I'm going to play the episode in the background here. Actually, you know what? Okay, so I've noticed this. We get so off topic, not talking about the show, that I think what I need to do is not let it play, but just we'll pause it at certain points, and then we can okay, we got the beginning. Man, this is so fast. It's 4 times speed, just so you know. And it's also a flipped image. Okay, so this is, I think, the montage they were referring to. I'm sorry, that's not a long montage, and it's not really a montage. It would have to be there, see, now he's talking. Okay, so Perrin is in here making swords, I guess, which would take a very long time to make a lot of swords. Like, you have to have the material to make them, first of all. But then he's here in this little shelterway area, and everybody else is out doing stuff, teaching the troops. You've got somebody who's, I don't know, they're making Molotov cocktails, and somebody else Alana's teaching, how to touch the source. That was it. He should be one of the ones who's walking around coordinating everybody. He shouldn't be tucked away back here. He's got 2 young men here who know how to do what they're doing here, but he doesn't present as a leader in this position. We did not see him organizing everybody for the day, telling you go there, you do this thing, make sure that we have this much done at the end of the day. We just start out with him in the blacksmith shop. Why are we starting with him in the blacksmith shop? It does not establish that he is the leader of all of this. All right, I'm going to get caught up in some of these messages here. Prater's in. At least watching Matt's sister nuke Valdo was satisfying. I'm going to skip a few. So if you've messaged me before, I'm so sorry, you might get missed. Paul Z. Bane and Chiad survived outside the ways, so I think it was just a glow light, not an explosion. Well, we would hope so, because they should be very tan after that. Or sunburned. Praterzin says, well, Loial died in season 1 too, remember? All right, skipping a few. CH, haven't seen one from you yet. They had Loial do some tree singing before he did the floor breaking, so he could have created a big bridge to another place in there. Did he do tree singing, or was he just singing the Sing of Manethrin, whatever that one is, the Remember Manethrin song? I actually thought he was going to do some tree singing, and I was like, oh, okay, we're about to see him, like, call in some vines or something, and this will seal the door, like he'll wrap the door so tight or something that nobody can break through. I don't know what I expected, but he didn't do anything. He was not tree singing, so I don't know what happened there. Scrolling down. Oh, look. Holy monkeys, Jason. That is very, very generous of you. $50? Holy, what did I do to deserve this? Thank you. Longtime reader, book super fan, first time caller. Well, hello. Good to meet you. And I'm very grateful. Thank you. Your reasoning for switching to a live stream format for season 3 makes sense, but I've been on the edge of my seat waiting for your takes on season 2, episode 7 and 8. Can you share any news updates on that front? Yeah, so I had some friends who I was working with them yesterday, and they kind of brought to my attention that I maybe have lost this attempt to be releasing videos in a timely way with Amazon and its blocks, and just the amount of time that I spend on editing my videos. The only reason I put episode 7 and 8 aside was because suddenly I couldn't get any episodes to upload. They were just totally blocked. Amazon really ramped up their copyright ID and what they would claim and what they would block. I mean, if it's unblocked, I'll upload it, even if it's not monetized. If Amazon is still going to claim it like this is mine, fine, Amazon, take the money. I don't care. Just get the freaking video out. I take days just trying to get them to let me publish it at all. So as soon as it's available, I will maybe try 2 times to get it past the copyright claim so that I can make money. But if I don't get it in like 2 shots, I'm like, forget it. And that maybe takes 2 hours to do that. And then I can just put it up and publish it. But if I haven't been able to get past their copyright claim, I upload it anyway. So, but it takes days for me to get past just their copyright block where they don't let me even publish the video. But yeah, so my friends told me that I need to just forget about like trying to put my episodes out faster and faster, because I'm driving myself nuts. Like, I'm so burned out from editing because I literally spend every second that I have. Like, it's at least 40 hours per video. And that's like an 1.5 to 2 hour video. This last one came out at 3 hours, and I'm trying to crunch it down. But what were we getting at? Oh yeah. So now that the rush is over, because the finale is coming out in this week, I'm going to go back, finish 7 and 8. I'll put out 3 right away, but 7 and 8 are going to be probably my next priority after that. But they're coming. I really promise that they're coming. So thank you for that, Jason. And hopefully anybody else was wondering about that stuff. Now you're caught up on the news. Christopher Craig says, importance is yes and no. He does important things, but most of them are off page. So I think he could be written out if they really needed to. The bigger problem is the rest of the gates. Okay, that's good to know. Because see, I'm only on I'm only on book 6. And Loial has been an integral part of the gang, but I wouldn't say he's been crucial to the plot except by his ability to navigate the ways and being able to tell people about how to find them and stuff. So I don't know what his role is later on in the series. Let's see. The Undermole Gaming. The Undermole. Okay, got it. But I get the confusion. Let's see, going down a bit. Christopher Craig. Oh, and Show Loial didn't do anything before this either. So why did he exist at all? I think that's why they unkilled him in season 2. Because they're like, well, we don't need him for anything. But then they realized, wait, we are going to have to kind of do something about the way gates. in the two rivers because they have to be cut off and sealed, but they're not going to be able to send Alana to go and do that. Well, I don't know. Why didn't they just send Alana? I don't know. Who knows what was going on in their mind? Maybe they got so much backlash about killing him off that they brought him back, but then they're like, well, we're still not giving him anything to do except flirt with the two Aiel women, which was weird. Prater's in. I did giggle snort at Alana saying, you bitch. Me too. I actually thought that was funny. See, this is it. Within the scope of its own little, like, pretend the books don't exist and pretend that the rest of the show doesn't exist. Just within little moments, I can really enjoy what the potential is for a specific thing. But once you expand your awareness, for me, it's hard to see how it's important. It's hard to see how it's justified. So, yeah. But yeah, I did like the you bitch. It was surprising. Wasn't expecting that. It's almost like I expect them to swear like they do in the books, but they haven't so far, really. So, All right, skipping a few. I'm not sure how to say this name. Guer Amalasan? Amalasan? You're gonna have to fix that for me. I am bad at pronunciation. The maiden's kiss scene was cringe. That is the understatement of the season. Why did they do this? I actually liked the maiden's kiss thing that they did with Matt. I was like, okay, I could see this being a very Aiel type of game. But it has been explained to me that basically Maiden's Kiss is the equivalent of telling somebody to go look for headlight fluid. There's no such thing, but you're going to get teased the hell out of once you'd go and do that. So, going to the Maidens of the Spear and saying, hey, I'd love to play Maiden's Kiss with you. They're all going to come at you, making fun of you or pushing you away or whatever it is that they're going to do. So I could see how I thought maybe they've got a game that they've established in later books, and then this was what it was. And I was like, oh, I like this game. I actually still do kind of like the game. I don't like what they did with it with Loial, though, because I don't know, are they going to kill people if they don't kiss well? And this does mean that at some point, Matt was a pretty good kisser because he ended up alive at the end, right? So he must have kissed good enough for the spears to get pulled back. All right. Tark T. I'm so here for you to tear this episode to shreds. I hate Rafe more as a writer after this episode than ever before. I was fooled after the first 4 episodes that perhaps they were turning a corner. That 4th episode is very deceiving because structurally it follows the books within Ruidian, right? So we were all pleased to see that, and they were very short vignettes. But outside of that, they didn't really do much. They arrived at Ruidian, Rand goes into Ruidian, and then he comes back out. That was the progress of the plot in that episode. I don't think that if there was a lot more plot around it, it would have gone very good. I think that this episode called for the types of flaws that these writers have on accident, but it would have been an instance where if the rest of the show was brilliantly written and then we saw this episode, we'd all be going, the writing was a little bit rough, but you know what? That's kind of what you have to do when you have to cram so many short stories into one episode like that. So you'd almost give them like, okay, I'll give you a break on this one. But their writing problems are pretty much the same as they are through the rest of the series, where you've got characters who are being motivated to do things, but the motivation and the action don't link up, or you've got dialogue that is very telly instead of showy, or as a matter of fact, you don't show with dialogue very often. It's a bit trickier to do it that way. But anyway, let's keep going. Demigord says, but that would be a little silly and is never stated. I'm not sure which one you're talking about there. Thumb Marilyn. Hi, Amber, everyone. Hope you are all doing well today. How's it going, Thumb? Christopher Craig. Why can't I see your message? There we go. I wondered about that too. The pole arms they're using are terrible. Time would have been so much better spent making a decent pole arm heads rather than swords nobody knows how to use. Yeah, nobody in this town would know how to use a sword. I think they would be better at spears than swords, but they would be better at longbows than they would be at spears. That whole bit, we're gonna have to, I'm gonna hit play and let's get to that point. We got them talking, and then they think the Tuatha On are here, or no, they think that what are they called? the Trollocs are here, and it turns out it's just the Tuatha, which anybody would have been able to see just by looking. I mean, this town remembers what the Trollocs look like, I'm sure. They attacked, what, a year and a half ago, if that even? And they've been attacking supposedly for the last several months. Anyway, the Tuatha show up, and the grandpa is dead or missing, and the grandma's disappointed that Perrin has an axe. Okay, that's about that. Let's see, Robert Cabus. I'm still confused. Where is the actual village blacksmith? They could have had just a random extra banging a hammer in the background. No village like this would be without a blacksmith. I think maybe it was supposed to be those two boys, but he was basically teaching them. So yeah, that's a good question. Icarus Comet. Peasants are scary people. They don't need pep talks. You know what? That's actually kind of a good point. There is a community, typically, especially in a small town like this. I'm thinking of like hamlets in England. They're very, very small towns. They would be very close, like basically a family. If one of them felt like they were being threatened, the others would rally to them most likely. This is not like big city mentality, like, oh, you're on your own, goodbye. You know, I don't even, who cares? I don't even know you. That's from Family Guy. That's the clip I would have stuck in right there. You wouldn't do that in a small town because these are people you rely on and people who have relied on you in the past. You are a family in a tiny town like this. I've lived in a tiny town. It does get like that pretty easily. Summit. Well, I mean, he can't possibly be a leader of anything in this world. He has a ding-a-ling. Christopher Craig. Yeah, this bothered me. The second they got back to Emmons Field, they just went without a blacksmith for months. It is weird. Walt 69. In the books, people found old weapons in their attics and in storage, and they were busy making arrows instead of swords. That's right. I remember that. I think they may have turned a few farm implements into hand weapons. It does not make sense to go and make brand new weapons when you've got plenty of things around that you can use as a weapon. You're going to spend your week forging weapons instead of fortifying your fortress. Whatever. Demigord, holy monkeys. Did I say holy monkeys? That is one I say sometimes. I think because my nephew used to think it was funny. And I take care of my nephew and my niece a lot. My sister is in medical school. She'll be out in September. So that'll be great when she's no longer doing that. Anyway, Walt, 69. That behavior shows that Amazon is aware that their product is garbage. I don't know which behavior are we talking about? Robert Cabus. I got to skip more. Okay. In the books, Perrin kept trying to make his way over to the forge, but kept getting sidetracked, actually trying to prepare the village for battle. That's right. That did happen. I don't know if it happened a lot, though, but I seem to recall that happening once. And a lot of it was him being basically realizing he needed to go out and like get people. Him going out and bringing people into town was a big part of what he did, because people didn't just randomly all gather in town because their farms were being attacked. They were staying on their farms to protect their farms. But I do actually see that this is an opportunity to, like, okay, maybe they all came into town and because everybody has to discuss town business. And so they have the discussion all there. That will save you some time, him going out and doing things. But I did think that his speech was weak. Trip. So here's a bizarre thought. How about you do a live stream show showing the videos you can't get monetized? Because they will block my videos. They will kick me off of YouTube. So if I start streaming like an episode, they will just kick off the stream will just get cut off. And that's what would happen to my videos. And actually that happened to my last live stream, but then I found out YouTube seems to depend a lot on the audio when it's identifying your video. And if I just muted certain segments, especially towards the end of mine, I think I had some music going there and it claimed video and song. So I just muted the whole thing and suddenly it couldn't claim anything anymore. So let's see, skipping ahead. I got to skip. I'm so sorry, people. Wheel of Woke sellouts? Whoa. False Dragon. What are we talking about here? Let me see if I can go back and pick it up somewhere. Praterson says, I'm also pissy they didn't make a bigger deal about Two Rivers longbows than they did. Yeah. Robert Cabus. That's because they had to have an idiotic training scene. Yeah. Why are they working on the spears at all? They should be preparing arrows. These guys are competent with the longbow. That would be a much more effective weapon than a spear because you can take out your enemy while they are way further away. The longbow has pretty far range. Oh, it's idiotic. Okay, Ronald Chisira, I hope I got that right. Loial is important for the opening of the Book of Translation to get the Ogier of the Wastelands involved in Taman Gaiden. Okay, that's got to be something that I have not gotten to yet because Taman Gaiden. Oh no, that does sound familiar. See, I listen to the audiobook, so sometimes the spelling does not quite get to me until I read it or say it out loud, and then I go, oh, that's the word. Oh, yeah, I'm still not sure what we mean by false dragon from Wheel of Oak Sellouts. Sorry. All right, now I'm going to skip a few more. Drake Romoir. Since you do fencing, do you think you can decipher or figure out how the Blade Master's sword forms are supposed to look and show us? The Blade Master sword forms, what they're supposed to... Oh, you mean like as described in the books? No, it's a two-handed weapon. So my weapons are epee, foil, and saber in that order. And these three weapons are single-handed, very lightweight, very flexible weapons. And you have limited target areas. I think in the show, especially, they're using... I've mainly seen like what looks like some sort of a katana blade, but I am seeing some representation of what do you call these? It's like a gladius almost, the shorter, almost like a Roman sword, and then long swords. So I don't know. I'm not as good at picking out the types of swords until I'm like, I need to Google that image or something. But no, I could not tell you what they mean. Even just from the descriptions in the books, sometimes I'm completely lost. It's sort of like in The Name of the Wind. There's a part where he's learning some sort of a fighting style from his friend who sounds Swedish when he talks. And they're talking about them, and they're all with symbols, like, about leaves and a turning wind and things like this. And I'm like, I don't know what that looks like at all. It's all up to my imagination. I do want to know what it looks like, though. Maybe that would be a good video for... who's the guy who's like, he does medieval, he does like medieval armory and battle commentary and, just life in medieval time. But then he's also really into Wheel of Time. I haven't seen a whole lot of his videos on Wheel of Time, but I know that he did a bunch of videos on it. He would be great to do that. That would be a good suggestion for his channel. What is his name? Somebody tell Drake Romoir who that guy is. But I know everybody knows who he is. Andrew Frank, do we know what episode 8's major book event is supposed to be? Is episode 8 the finale? Episode 8 is the finale, and I think that it's going to be, it'll be killing Couladin, and it will be Moraine and Lanfear. I think it'll be the end of the two of them. And I think that it will be... there's going to be at least a confrontation directly between Nynaeve and Moghedien. I don't know what exactly, but they've got to do that. And then I think we're going to get the stilling of Siuan and Leanne. And I don't know if they're going to join up with Logain, which they are supposed to. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? But I think that's what it's supposed to be. All right. Skipping a bit more. Danielle Mader. Your reviews are the best, most balanced reviews I have seen. And as a HEMA practitioner and archer with some armored combat throw in, this episode hurt my soul. This is somebody who does HEMA should be doing the analysis of the sword fighting in this show, because it's not my style, but I can tell just strategically and tactically, like, I don't think that would work. For instance, everybody should know you do not turn your back on your enemy. If they're armed and you're not, the moment your back is facing them, you're dead. Fractions of seconds matter in sword play. I think the fractions are a little bit fatter in FEMA than they are in fencing, but it's still going to be pretty quick. You have to be fast. And if you turn your back, you're not going to be fast enough to turn around and defend yourself. Sorry, but that's the way it goes. Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Skipping ahead. Cat the Wine Yogi. That's a very nice little name. It's just so frustrating. They claim they had to cut from the source material because there was too much to parlay into a TV series, yet they add so much filler garbage that I can't watch it. Exactly. Anybody who gives the argument that they are cutting a lot because they don't have time to tell, the full story, then what is the excuse for giving so much attention to characters who don't even exist in the books, or characters that have a very minor role, characters who frankly don't even need to be in certain segments of the story? At least I'm in book 6 and I cannot see reasons for certain characters to be in certain places. Anyway, okay. Let's keep going. Mark Sato or Sato. Well, if Tam were in the village, then they could train at swords. This is true. They could have. And they could have been doing so way before. He could have been there like trying to, here's how you defend yourself if a Trolloc is coming at you, in this way. But I don't think the actor was interested in coming back. Wonder why. Clearing the fog. They couldn't have Perrin and Fael get married in this episode because they skipped book 3 because they need Moiraine to leave this season. Lanfear battle. Yep. So many issues arrive from skipping book 3. I agree. The Aiel identified Rand as the one because he took Calendor. And here they're saying it was because of the dragon that Moiraine made. The dragon fire, dragon, sneaky dragon thing. I don't know. Okay. Gonna play a little bit further in this episode so we can have something more to talk about here. Okay, there's the Tuatha coming in. There's the Aiel and Fael. Sorry, I don't know why I thought that was so fun. When things rhyme, I sometimes get a little giggle out of that. It's so childish. Okay. Oh my gosh, why are we wasting time here? Like, this was not nearly as important as other things, but okay. Christina Haney says, Lord Luke was essentially useless. Why did they even bother casting someone? His role, I think, is done in this season. He was only useful if Perrin was shown to be a master of the dream world, the wolf dream. Like, he should be even better than Egwene at this point. He should be really good at it. He should be using it often. He should be talking to the wolves to find out where the Trollocs are. I cannot believe we have not had a single wolf moment in this entire season, and I don't think we're going to get one. Like, what? This is his one special magical thing. And it would have made how he defended the town more interesting. Oh, whatever. Okay. I thought we were going to get something when we saw those dead wolf heads in the White Cloaks camp, but no. Okay, going down. Robert Cabus. Guys, let's try not to discuss spoilers. Try to keep everything to book 5 at least. Oh, good. I didn't see anything. So, I think you guys are talking about Tarman Gaiden is the last battle. Okay. Clearing the fog. Oh, that was Dark Wolf who said that. Clearing the Wolf. PSA. Amber just started book 6. Please don't drop spoilers past that. Yeah, I appreciate no spoilers. There's a few things, though, by the way, I have figured out, and I have discussed them in my own Discord, and the show spoiled one of them. So anyway, let's see. Black Rose Dragon 22. Always go with the rule. If you don't see the body, they aren't dead. I highly doubt Loial will be killed off. He will probably fall on another platform. Agreed. I think that's exactly what they're going to do. Doe Wolf or Do Wolf. Sorry, I was just checking out your profile picture. Let's see. I've always thought it's really cool that we get these evocative descriptions and everyone imagines their own version of them. I think you're talking about the what we were just talking about, how I don't even know what they're talking about, with the way that they describe certain fighting moves, like parting the silk, for example. I want to know what that looks like too, because I don't know what that looks like. What does parting the silk look like? Yeah, I think that's cool. Everybody has their own thing that they pick up on or that they imagine themselves. I think I might be getting more caught up. Praterzin says the katana blade is accurate. That's what Calendor looks like on the cover of the final book. Okay. Oh yeah, it does. I remember that's where he's got it like up like this. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Tiki Dale, hey, how's it going? Says Metatron. Okay. Oh, Shadiversity. Okay, yeah, it's Shadiversity. He does a lot of the historical stuff. I don't know who Metatron is. If he does that also, one of them should do what they interpret the moves in the book to look like. Like, after what they've read, what do they think is being depicted there? And I wonder how much research Robert Jordan did into real forms that you would see in sword fighting of the kind that he imagined. Obviously, do we ever get a description of Kalendor being a curved blade? I kind of just imagined it being like a crystal, like geometric, like almost it grew that way, which I don't think I've ever seen like a curved one. But that might be just me. Let's see. M says, the most cringe for me was the poetry section with Aram and his mom, Granny. I'm blanking on her name. Perrin Guy's eyebrow area does the most acting work. Okay, which poetry? What are we talking about? Poetry section with Aram and his mom / Granny. I'm not sure what that means. But Perrin's eyebrows does the most acting. What opportunity to act has the actor who plays Perrin even really had? He was supposed to have this big emotional moment when he's on the hill with Alana and in the grave. Like, he should have been having a breakdown because he's supposedly, if we're just going by what's happening in the show, he's burying his wife. This is him burying his wife. This should have been a big moment for him. But all we get is, you going to try and find some more warders now? Like, you're going to try and find another one? Like, oh. Okay, let's see. Gonna skip down a little bit. Joshua Templeton. Oh, that's not for me. Drake, Josh is talking to you. Or Joshua, sorry. Psyche. It's so weird that Lan lost his whole family and kingdom to the dark, yet is still willing to work with Lanfear. Yeah. Okay, so in the trailer for the next episode, the final episode, you can see that he actually does take a swing at Lanfear, but she blocks him. So I don't know what that's all about. Do you think they're going to kill Lan? That would be weird because he's still alive. I don't know. Who knows what they're going to do? Supposedly something controversial that anybody who has seen the entire first season, when they say the show is great, that's the one thing that they stop at. They say, but the finale has something very controversial happen in it. So I don't know what that's going to be. But then again, I also heard there was going to be like a really long montage, which we never got. So let's see. Daniel Madar. I do epee and kendo as well. I tried kendo when I was an exchange student in Japan, and it is so fun. But dang, I don't know why, but to me, the fencing gear is not as hot as the kendo gear. And yeah, I do epee. Epee is my primary weapon. It's the heaviest and the most deadly. It's the one that works just like a dueling weapon. So anywhere on the body counts. Basically no rules. Touch first, you win. Double touches count too. Oh, so shut up. Somebody's messaging me. Okay. Nick Narkowitz. There's a channel called Way of the Heron that does the sword forms from Wheel of Time. Oh, great. So for those of you guys who are wondering, there you go. Thanks for that that reference, Nick Narkowitz. Or what is a reference? Not a reference. Recommend. There you go. Let's see. Who have I not done? Okay, let's see. Kat the Wine Yogi says, I am a level 2 sommelier and 500-hour yoga guide, hence the Wine Yogi. Oh, okay. I don't know what that first word is or means, but I'm guessing it has to do with wine. So good job being level 2. I'm not level anything. Let's see. Tarek T says, to me, at this point, it isn't just filler garbage. It is a lot of CW romance. Yes, sexuality moments. It's weird. I'm not a prude. I don't mind anything in Game of Thrones, but this show does these often and wrongly timed. Yeah. It's the immaturity of how these scenes are handled. So, okay, do we all remember in Game of Thrones, there's a scene where Littlefinger is talking to, he's got 2 of his prostitutes are there and they are going at each other. But it's like he's telling them, he's giving them instructions in like what you have to do. Like, you need to do this in bed to be more like, you got to, basically he's trying to teach them how to do their job better. And so he makes them do it. And then while he's talking to them, he's kind of revealing what his own mentality is about, opportunity and climbing the ladder and taking advantage of, opportunity, whatever, stuff like that. I don't even remember specifically what he's talking about. That was absolutely gratuitous. Like, we're just sticking this in here because we want him to say all this stuff, but we also need to keep people interested. And people rolled their eyes at that later on, going, like, yeah, it was pretty obvious that's what they're doing. In this, what you're talking about, they're really poorly developing these relationships. And when they do, it's awfully immature. And then they're going straight to banging every single time. You don't get it as emotional payoff for like two characters you really wanted them to get together. Like, seriously, even Lan and Nynaeve, like, there was not enough build up to them to get to banging in season 1. I'm sorry. I could actually believe it by season 3. Like, let's say they almost got there by the end of season 1, that when we get to season 3 and they have their time together in Tarvalon, but then we would have had to spend more than one episode there. But whatever. You can't think about this show too much. It'll just drive you insane. Okay, let's see. I can't remember how you told me to say it. Thundermole, the Undermole. That's right. You said the Undermole. Arming everyone with swords irritated me even more than just the logistics behind it, because the book stated that they do competitive quarterstaff fighting, best shown with Matt. Yeah, they seem to have forgotten that altogether in this show, because him beating the two princes with the quarterstaff was not portrayed as something that came from him. It was portrayed as something magical happening to him. So they took away that greatness of his own and turned it into, he was just blessed with this miraculous ability to tap into his past lives, and one of them could fight with a quarterstaff, I guess. Okay. Tony B, I was wondering the same thing. I must have missed something up here. Shoot. Okay. Tony B says, I was looking for a wolf moment and we didn't get it. Yeah, we didn't get a single wolf moment. Like, let me play a little bit further here. Oh my gosh, they are still talking at the table. Still just talking at the table. Yes, because this is definitely the most important thing we should do. Oh, and then these two Aiel are like, yeah, we want to bang that kid. He's great. I thought that the two women were together. I guess they're bi. That happens, I guess. Okay. Making weapons, teaching the girls how to touch the source, which they immediately forget how to do that night. They can channel when they need to, and then they can't when they can't. Oh yeah, and then there's that drunk lady who can channel. How did she know that she could channel? There was no indication that she could see Alana's weaves. She's like, you can see my weaves, can't you? And it's like, how do you know? You haven't been channeling in front of these people. It's weird. They will not be specific about whether or not women can sense other women who channel, or they can see the channeling of men. The rules are so vague in this show that they could literally do anything. And I think that the audience who are just strictly show watchers would be like, I guess that's what they can do. But the thing is, if you have no solid rules and you're breaking rules all the time, then anything could happen. And that means you will believe that anything could happen, which means that nothing is going to pay off well. When there are no rules, literally God can be thrown into the machine and everything works out. That's the whole concept of Deus Ex Machina, is God coming out of the machine. Okay, let's go down. Let's see. How far behind am I here? Okay, I got to skip ahead of quite a few. Okie Native, $5. Thank you very much, Okie Native. YouTube channel Way of the Heron has the best videos on what the Wheel of Time sword forms would look like, since they are based on Asian styles with some European. I got to check out this channel. I'm going to do Way of the Heron. Okay, before I forget, because it's also a note on my notepad here, we're doing another live stream tomorrow. I'm going to be, the White Cloaks are going to come and be guests on my channel. It will be 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is 11 a.m. Pacific time. So I think a lot of people will be at work. I'm self-employed, so I work at home. So I'll be able to record it, but you can catch it on the rewatch. We are going to be making, actually, I created banners for this. We are going to be making a predictions list, actually a bingo card, of what we think is going to happen in the finale. So that is tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're able to make it, great. If not, catch us on the rewatch. And again, Okie Native, thank you for that reference. Let's see, what the heck happened here? Oh, there we go. Okay, I lost track of where we were. Play history, hello. How did they have such a horrendous anticlimax for this episode? They don't win. What the actual hell? They don't win. Yeah, they don't, do they? Perrin just makes a deal with the guy who's winning because the guy wants to save his own neck. He orders everybody off. Why didn't he just what I don't understand is why didn't Pad and Fane just, yeah, sure, I'll order them back. But he's spoken to them in Trolloc, so they could have just run back, but then immediately run into the fray again as soon as Perrin was set free. I don't know. Okay. Oh, I'll have to watch that scene again because maybe the Trollocs had to be all the way out of the town before he let Pad and Fane go. I don't know. Even in that case, he should have just killed Pad and Fane, just saying. Spending more time with Alana and her warder, and they are uselessly training everybody with spears instead of making a crap ton of arrows. You're right. They should have been doing that and just been stationing people to keep the enemy far away from us at all times. Oh yeah, and then we've got, okay, I have a question about this banner. Does anybody else in the town know that Perrin has a connection with the wolves? Do they have any awareness that he is connected to all they know is he's got golden eyes, but he didn't tell anybody. He told Fael. That's it. And then she went around and told people, oh, Trollocs are afraid of wolves. Is that why they made it a wolf? Because see, in the books, they chose the wolf because of how it related to Perrin. They understood Perrin has this connection with the wolves and we like it. And it's helpful. And this is his symbol now. Perrin is the wolf. It's weird. Okay, let's see. Let's keep going. Ethan McDonald says, I think there was an interview by the showrunner about how many side characters like Loial would be killed off in epic deaths because it's not practical having the actors hang around for many years. Yeah, I mean, it would make sense to me. If he's not a major character later on in the story, just get rid of him. But if he's going to show up later, maybe they should have just sent him off to a steading and then he comes back when he's like, I heard you guys were in this area. And then he can be there when he needs to be. He doesn't have to be there for every single episode. Summit says sommelier means wine snob. I hope I'm saying it properly. I don't think I am. Sommelier. I know that it's something like that. And Tarek T says wine. Yes, the wine yogi knows her wine. Okay, lots of talk about the wine. I'm gonna move on. Let's see. Oh, Tador, hello. Says sigh. They completely ruined Aram. Well, they didn't have his decision be something that was well thought out and deliberate. He deliberately leaves the Tuatha'an in the books. He's like, I don't want to follow the way of the leaf anymore. I want to fight. And here, it's a quick moment where he out of desperation to save himself and the baby grabs the sword. It just doesn't have that same kind of impact. And changing somebody's way of their choices, the motivation behind their choices typically has a negative effect in the long run. So him making a choice I'm abandoning the way of the leaf, and then here where he's I was kicked out against my will, basically, it's I don't know. It depends on what he does later on in the story. I'm on book 6. I don't know what his role is in general. Let's see. Christina Haney says, there was a bunch of gratuitous stuff in Game of Thrones. The beginning seasons are pretty book accurate, though. Yeah, this is true. It's almost like you go, okay, if you're going to do this, whatever. To me, I don't really understand putting the blatant sexual content in there because your audience would be bigger, I think, if you just have great writing and you don't have that stuff. I feel like the reason they put it in there is because they feel they're going to draw in the crowd that wants to look at this stuff. And the thing is a lot of people watch Game of Thrones because it was so well written. The dialogue was killer. The stories were interesting. The characters, you really were rooting for a lot of them. That's why people watched, not for this stuff. And if you don't have that stuff in there, a lot of people will let their younger kids, not younger, but they will let, younger teens and kids watch a show that has violence and scary stuff in it, but they won't let them watch something that has gratuitous sex in it. So I'm just saying, you can widen your audience if you don't make it so explicit. Probably if you tone down some of the violence too, but I mean, if it's a war story, I would totally get that. So let's see. Drew ID. Oh, that's not for me. Going down. Francisco Rodriguez. I wish I saw Alana fight more and with her guardian. Like the two of them doing stuff together. Yeah, she basically goes off and does her thing and he's doing his thing. And then she shows up and she's skewered right through the middle. So not a whole lot of her in here. It would have been an interesting new dynamic because if they're missing one and they're used to having two warders and her, then they would have had to maybe figure something out. But again, I would have been annoyed that they spent so much time on that and less on Perrin in the battle being a commander. Kaleidoforce. I too miss Gaul. Yeah, they never had a character. Have they had a Gaul character at all in this show? Like even in the Aiel, like in the threefold land, have we seen one? I don't think we have. CPT Bob Ross. They can't keep consistent rules for who can see, who can channel, or feel channelers. I don't even know if they've addressed about the whole feeling channelers thing, except here. This was the only time in the show where they even suggested that perhaps you can sense when somebody can channel. And I don't even know if it was that they can sense. She deduced that this woman can channel. Who knows? All right, I'm playing a little bit more of this. Okay, still we're setting stuff up. Oh my gosh. Okay. Am I the only one who is really annoyed at Dane Bornhold like drinking out of a flask everywhere he goes? I was like, we get it. He's getting hammered to deal with his pain. But is he going to carry a flask around with him everywhere to a meeting like this? Like, does he have no shame? I don't know. Whatever. Okay, that's that. Let's see. I'm just going to pause it there. Going down. Hawksmore42 says, drunk lady seeing Alana channeling. Obviously, it happened off screen like so much of this show. Yeah, that must be where it was. Like she saw so much of this show happens off screen and it's baffling that they expect us to follow along like, oh yeah, it's perfectly acceptable for you to just tell us things instead of showing us. Whatever. The Astylicis? Why is Gaul dead? Perrin freed him. Oh, that's right. I did hear that people are wondering, was that supposed to be Gaul in what was that weird town that Matt and Rand went to? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows why they do anything at this point? I mean, I know why they put so much stuff with Maxim in there. I think we've all figured that out. But Ricky Lake 2345 says, because even the bad guys had honor. Maybe I missed something. Thumb Maryland. No, they don't sin. Fane and the Dark Friends and Trollocs are now free to regroup and attack again. But now Perrin is in White Cloak custody. Perrin is now responsible for all the harm Fane causes. This is true. Yeah, I know what we're talking about. We're talking about Perrin letting him go. Oh my gosh. And then, yeah, because even the bad guys have honor. Okie Native again. Thank you. You're being very generous today. Rules. Where we're going, we don't need rules or good. Oh, I know what that reference is. Wait, what is it? Rules. Where we're going, we don't need rules. Back to the Future. Duh. Now I'm remembering. Or good writing, or average writing, or a plot, or sense. We did get truckloads of money and Rafe probably. Yeah. I don't know. We don't. I feel like this is very much a vanity project at this point. It's a very expensive vanity project. So, okay. Let's see. I feel like creating a show that is so successful and people regard as like, wow, that was really faithfully done to the source material and it was spectacular and you made little tweaks to make it even better. That would be a better reputation to come away from this project with than, oh, you did your own thing and it didn't even get past season 3. I don't think this is going to get a season 4. If it does, that'll be remarkable. But I did hear that they have to reach the same numbers they had for season 1, and I just don't think that's going to happen. Let's see. Spaced Oyster. Two Rivers longbows are notoriously powerful. Longbows in general are powerful. There's a reason why there's a reason why people used them. Professor LOL. Laughing my A off. I don't think even the showrunners even remember Perrin's connection to the wolves. Yeah, it is like they forgot. I heard them howling. At one point, Perrin runs, or he approaches the I forget what you call them, but it's where the spikes, the setup that they have where they've got the different points, the break points where they're going to stop the Trollocs, and it's got the wooden spikes up. He approaches one of them, and he's looking out, and you hear the wolf howl. And I was like, is he going to, does he have wolves that are out there scouting for him right now? And they're going to be like the first line of defense that maybe the townsfolk don't even know about. I kind of was going for that. And then no wolves, nothing. Okay. All right. Scrolling down. Got to get past a few. Ethan McDonald, at the end of the episode, there was a dejected Trolloc stumbling away. That's how I feel about the show. I don't even remember that moment, but that is funny. I'm going to play this in the background a little bit. And here, the White Cloaks do not agree to come and help, like a bunch of a-holes. I mean, they end up being a-holes in the book, but whatever. Oh my gosh. And then there's this scene. Let's just pause it here. Let's see. Scrolling down. Justin Vampatella or Vampatea. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. We pronounce 2 L's like a yuh here in Arizona because we got the Spanish influence here. When Alana got shot this episode, hilarious, it clearly implied that there was an army coming around that side of the village for an ambush. Then when it cut back later, they were just gone. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that somebody pointed that out. What happened? Where is the army? Nothing. Like, okay. No, they had time to go run up and grab her and bring her. Oh, okay. There's a lot of missed setup and payoff moments in this show. Are people weirded out that I'm like hidden back here? I should like sit. I just realized my face is hidden when I have the longer there we go. I'm up higher now. Better lift this up too. Let's see. Next one. I'm going to gotta tighten this thing. There we go. Okay. Going down. I am Vendel says, oops, oh, my thing fell down. But knowing how many holes Alana I'll let you guys read that one. Knowing how many holes Alana gets filled is essential to the plot. That was my biggest eye roll moment, I think, of season 2. That was so. Let's see. CPT Bob Ross. It didn't seem like Maxime even reacted when Alana got shot with a giant arrow. Now, is he supposed to feel her pain or her distress? Because if it's her pain, he should be on the ground too. Just saying. Let's see. Got a couple people talking to other people. Christina Haney. This is all Rafe's fan fiction. It is. There's no denying it at this point. There's no reason to give Alana and Maxime so much attention. If you're going to link them up to the Two Rivers story, you should be giving all of that attention to Perrin. It should be his building moment. Instead, it is somehow hers. Okay. Drew ID says it's totally a vanity project, like his real life partner, his Maxime. Yeah. Oh, whatever. What are you going to do? You know what's funny is that I actually would have been, I'll come right back to you, Carl. I would have been more okay with him getting more screen time if it was just like a little bit more than what he had. He didn't have anything in the books, but if they invent him and they put him in here and he's basically got not a whole lot, he's just one of Alana's warders, I would have been okay with him giving him a little bit. But this is like, we're writing you a whole subplot in this story where you did not even exist. Carl Spires. Alana wasn't even the one to notice the twins channeling at first. It was Maxime for some reason. Wait, was it? I can't remember. Did Maxime? No. I can't remember the details. I remember that one of them channeled, and that's what got their mother killed. But then later, it's Maxime who feels that they can channel. No. He just says, "Oh, they've come over to thank you," right? And then it's there that they realize that Alana realizes they can channel. You know what? I don't know. I can't remember. Who can keep track of all the things they do in this show? Let's see. Christopher Lambert. I disagree. This isn't fan fiction. No fan of the books would ever write this crap. This is something entirely else entirely. Yeah, it's no. Okay. Fan fiction is not necessarily written by people who love the source material. They love what they have imagined of the source material. So I still say it falls into that category. Andrew Rose, in interviews, the actor talked about dumping the Slayer wolf plots. Okay. So he knew going in that they were going to reduce the significance of his role. The most interesting thing about him is that he can talk to the wolves and use that to his advantage magically. That's what makes this whole thing a fantasy. Instead, we're going to use Alana as the girls will have power when they need it. Alana will be able to rain down ice spears and then suddenly get speared herself. I don't know. It feels like they are not playing with the rules of the magic that is available to them. And that is one of the most interesting things about science fiction to dive into is how is the writer going to take advantage of what this power system can do and do it creatively. Instead, it's just they had something fall from the sky and kill a bunch of Trollocs, just like in season 1. Having ice spears come from the clouds was not more creative than lightning. It's the same thing. It's just something coming from the sky and killing Trollocs. I'm sorry, it's not more creative. Andrew Rose, how do folks highlight text? Okay, so the people who are getting their super chats read, the highlighted text, that is they're giving me money, and so I read that. But highlighting their text, I think you mean when they're mentioning a name. If somebody mentions your name, Andrew Rose, you will see your name highlighted. But if they mention somebody else's name, and you have to do the @ symbol followed by the name. If somebody does somebody else's name, it won't be highlighted for you. It'll be highlighted for that person. So the highlighting only comes up for the person who's being addressed, unless you're doing a super chat, in which case I see it. It comes up glowing green on my end. Let's see. Donald Gooch. It's almost like they say to themselves, what are the coolest moments and abilities of the 3 books? And how can we either 1, delete it to ruin it, or 3, give it to a woman? That was certainly season 2's finale, wasn't it? I do wonder what the heck they're going to do with this. So again, I'm going to remind people, it's down in the bar down there. Monday, that's tomorrow, live stream at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and that's 2 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to do the predictions for the season finale, and the White Cloaks are going to be coming onto my channel. So they did this on their channel, and I said, or one of my patrons was like, it'd be really cool if you did something like the bingo card too. And I was like, I'm not confident to do this on my own. And so they invited me onto the White Cloaks to go and do it with them. And I loved it, but I still was like, I have no idea how to do this. So they're basically going to run something that they could be doing on their channel on my channel. So they're doing me a nice favor. So if you really hate this show, that's a place to go and feel vindicated. Those folks really hate this show with a passion. So go give them their channel some likes, but definitely come tomorrow, or be sure to look for the video when it comes up. Let's see, going down. Oh, I should play a little bit more. We've already been going for an hour. And oh my gosh, here's Loial telling them, I would like to make out with you too, and maybe more. Oh, and then we get Alana and Maxime and their little scene. We should be spending so much more time with Fail and Perrin, but it's awkward anyway because Perrin had a wife that was dead, and now he's in the home of his dead wife. Oh my gosh. See, this would actually be quite interesting on its own in a place where you have time for this sort of thing. Go ahead and tell the story of an Aes Sedai losing one of her two warders and how are the two left behind going to move on. That's a perfectly interesting story. But not when you have all this other stuff that's really important. You should be focusing more on. Sorry, that word comes up every once in a while when we're talking about this show in reference to a specific character. Arlene M. The battle sequence was entirely too long with too much CGI, plus Loial being Gandalfed. Yeah, he is Gandalfed, and I totally expect that we're going to see that, oh, he lands on another path. Oh my gosh. If they do that, if they ever get another season and they have to bring him back and they do it that way, this will be a joke. It will absolutely be a huge joke. All right, skipping down some more. Tony B. I don't think I've read from you yet. I'm sad that we're at the finale, but this season was a disappointment. You know, when you think back to the other seasons, every single one has ended as a disappointment. I don't expect much from this one. And I don't know, the fact that the people who've seen the whole finale or the whole season, and they're all big super fans, have the only thing that they can say about the finale is that it did something that they think is going to be very controversial, tells me that they weren't super thrilled by what happened. So I don't know. It's not looking good though. But yeah, this was like a mini finale and okay. And not faithful. Sorry. Okay, let's see. Kills still going down. I'm going to skip a few. Eric McGee. In the books, Perrin did not kill Dane's father. Yeah, the plot was that Dane was being lied to. In this awful TV version, Perrin actually killed Dane's father. Dane has a reason to be upset. Yeah, no kidding. And he's like, well, you know, you killed some random lady from my town. I mean, the argument is sound, but like you are the one who killed his father. So, I don't know what they're doing. Who knows? Okay, what do we got here? We got Fail is talking to Perrin. I think this is where he wants her to leave town. I think, isn't that what this part is? I don't know what's going on here. I think it's where he basically is trying to convince her to leave town. And she's like, no, I'm going to stay and fight. And, you know, you shouldn't be scared that you're going to accidentally axe me like you axed your wife. Dude, she does not know him. Well, I mean, I guess they were about to bang. But see, I feel like you don't broach the whole I can bring up how you killed your wife as you shouldn't be worried about that sort of a thing. You shouldn't be able to bring that up when you've only known him for a few days. And then, you know, even if you're going to bang him, like, I'm sorry, you don't know him well enough to talk about his wife. Mark Sato, still don't know how to pronounce that. It really still doesn't make any sense that Varen isn't there with her, because if Varen was there, all the problems with the One Power so far, this season, unfinished thought. I'm not sure what your finished thought was going to be there. If I see another one from you, Mark, I'll look for it. Niet Zies. I hope I'm saying that. Greetings, y'all. Greetings. Clever Max. If they drop Luke, if they drop Lord Luke in the Wolf Dream at that point, Perrin's part in this show will be to support Fael's super plot, which is, I think, at least if I was going to try to bring this back, I would have Fael rescue him in sort of a quick cutaway. Like, so we should have, I think, a monologue of some kind at the end of season 3. And during that monologue, we get little check-ins with all the other plots. And we'll see that Siuan is escaping the tower. And we'll see that Nynaeve and Egwene are getting the collar or something. And then we'll see that Perrin gets rescued by Fael. I think that's what it's going to be. But at the same time, like, if they were going to go and rescue him, then why didn't they rescue him this time? Unless they're going to do it sneakily in the night, which, okay, like, why change that up? Whatever. Okay. Angst Kitten, thank you very much. $10. Holy moly. How do you feel about Rafe's comments that Loial's fake death in season 1 was because real deaths are coming and he wants people to emotionally prepare themselves? I think it hurt season 3's impact. Yeah, it did. Oh, sorry, I gotta sit up. I'm not hiding behind that. Okay. The thing is when you have characters seemingly die and then come back, it makes you never believe that they'll ever die. You just go, they're never going to die. So like right now, I don't believe Loial's dead because I was so shocked that he died at the end of season 1. So he came back. Everything was like, all life is normal. He didn't even have any side effects from being stabbed by the dagger of Shadow Logoth, whatever, 3 times. He got triple tapped by Padden Fane. But I don't believe he's dead in this either. I just don't. And we already saw a tragic moment with him. To me, it was obvious he was going to die when we were in this episode and we drew so much attention to him being with the Aiel women. It just felt like this is it. They are preparing the audience for he is going to die. And it had zero emotional resonance. And I think it's exactly what you're talking about. It's because we've already seen him die. He already died and came right back. I don't believe he's dead. And even if he is, because I am unsure about it, I'm not going, oh no, he's gone forever, because I don't believe he's gone forever. And I think that the show writers are just as capable of bringing him back again. I could see them doing it very easily. They wanted to prepare people for the deaths to come. I mean, Alana has been through so many fake deaths at this point. She has suffered mortal wounds just in this season twice, 3 times, if you count her being thrown against a stone wall. She should have died already twice before, and then we get the 3rd time now. When she finally does die, I'll be like, finally. I'll never feel she's in danger ever, because you have to top what she's already been through, and she's already been through mortal wounds. So you can't really top that. But yeah, they're not, when you have people not being affected by things in the way that they should be affected by them, it's not believable anymore. If somebody wants to lose a limb permanently for the rest of the series, I'll be more impressed, because I'll be like, oh, you had their arm get cut off. That's good. Now what are they going to do? How are they going to fight with, sword fight with only one arm? This is why Jaime Lannister losing his sword, his dominant hand, was so impactful to his character. He spent forever trying to train up his other hand and being super frustrated with this. I actually came across this in the fencing world. One of my fencing buddies, when I was very early in my fencing career, he was very, very good, but he got, I think, like carpal tunnel or something, and no longer could fence with his dominant hand and had to switch to the other one. And the conundrum he was faced with is, he's like, I really want to keep fencing because I love it. And he was still beating people with his wrong hand. He was that good. But he said it was frustrating for him because he could not react in the speed that was natural, because a signal would go from his brain to his dominant hand and then come back to his brain and like wrong hand and then go to the other side. And so everything was delayed for him. So he could not move at the speed he wanted to. And he was constantly having to be consciously making decisions about which hand to use, because it's a reflex sport. There is a lot that is pre-planned, but you also train your reflexes to take action when your mind is not going to be fast enough. And so those reflexes were too slow, and he was having to be conscious about them all the time. And so it just wasn't fun anymore. It was like starting from scratch, and he was never going to be as articulate with his non-dominant hand as he was with his dominant hand. And yeah, it basically killed him. But anyway, not killed him, but killed him psychologically, and he quit. It was really sad. He quit something he was good enough to be one of the top in the world, and it's really sad. I hope he's doing well. He was super smart, so he's probably doing fine. All right, let's see. Jerome Colaganese? Jerem, you're going to have to fix my pronunciation. Conspiracy theory. Showrunner already knows there will be no season 4 renewal, so ramps up participation of his otherwise unemployed lover at the expense of main character and gives his avatar Oh, this is the first of a half and half. That is very possible. I could see that. I could definitely see that being a reason why. I mean, I heard somewhere that he's only contracted out for the first 3 seasons, so he might not get a renewal if that's even something that he wants to pursue. I don't know. Who knows? I keep saying that. Oh, here's part 2 of 2. So let me get that. What was the first part? It was at the expense of the main characters and gives his avatar. Where's the other half of this message? I just saw it. Where'd it go? Hang on. Maybe I'm Jerem calling me as down. Oh, here we go. His avatar showrunner gives his avatar on the TV show Loial the rest of the quality screen time and a heroic death scene. Do you really think that Loial is supposed to be him? I don't know about that because I just don't see that. That might just be my personal, I just don't see that. MLYSS22. The White Cloaks are hilarious and ruthless with his critiques. It's several of them. There's going to be a bunch of White Cloaks. I think there's 3 or 4 others that are coming. So it's going to be a madhouse of people who just despise this whole series. So if you really hate the show, you're welcome to come. Be prepared if you're neutral about the show. There are some things in this show that I think are praiseworthy. Okay, so this scene right here, by the way, with Perrin talking to Loial, this could not be more obvious. This is the final farewell for Loial. If you didn't know that he was going to die after this, then you're just you haven't watched a lot of stories or read a lot of stories, because this is how you do it. This is textbook, which means that the shock is not going to be there anyway. We're getting it here. We know it's coming. It's not quite the same thing as building up the tragedy of a death to foreshadow it so strongly as they are here. It's not the same. Okay, going down. Nets yet. Moron, yes. Yeah. Going down. Let's see. I haven't read one from Thumb Maryland in a while. Maybe the big controversy in Ep 8 is that it is book accurate. Just kidding. They'd never do that. I think they're going to kill off Lanfear permanently, dead, which she isn't technically neither Lanfear nor Moraine are technically dead in the books. They're just, we don't know where. And I've heard that we see them again, or at least one of them. But it's not they're definitely dead. They're just no longer on the board. They cannot play the game anymore. I think that they're going to kill Lanfear, because I think this actress probably has a lot of opportunities coming her way after her performances in this show. And she's gone. So she doesn't want to be on the show anymore, which, if so, good for her. Good job, Lanfear actress lady, whose name I don't know at all. Joshua Fears, is fantasy just that hard to adapt to streaming? Why are so many fantasy shows so bad? I don't know. I do not. That is a good question. I do not get it. And I know a lot of people disagree with me, but the Avatar: The Last Airbender was pretty faithful. It did nothing to break the characters or the story, but it did have some issues with cramming way too much plot in there, which is what the Shyamalan movie did. But otherwise, it didn't break anything. So they did an okay job. I'm hoping they'll do better for the next one. I actually hope they cut out more and just make it smoother. Maybe they'll get more episodes. That would be awesome. But let's see. So, and I've heard actually, what's the one about the kid who finds out he's a Greek god's son? What was that one? I've heard that the show, which was done by Disney of all things, I've heard that was pretty book accurate. I don't know the books, but anybody who's read them, Percy Jackson, that was it. Anybody who's read them, let me know if the show is accurate. I'm not going to read the books though, so maybe I don't care. I don't really care. Look, fantasy is not that hard to adapt. I just think that people in Hollywood seem to think that we want to see something different than what was in the books. They don't understand that, no, we want to see the books properly adapted to a new medium. You just want to see what you had before done in a new medium. And yes, you're going to have to cut things. You're going to have to add a few things, and you're going to have to change a few things in order to make it work in this new medium. That's fine. but we want to see that it's the same world building, characters, plot progression, themes, and tones. Do those things. And if you take a few liberties and they end up being better, then we will applaud you. But we don't want them to be like severely different. We don't want to have huge moments for main characters given to other characters for some reason. That makes no sense. Okay, anyway. Hawksmoor 42, final prediction. And then they all died and the Dark One won. I think a lot of people are hoping for that I win again, lose Theron, but I doubt it'll happen. That would be hilarious if it did. If it did, I would have to applaud Rafe for having the balls to do that. Tarek T. Wait, it just hit me. Is Perrin a serial murderer? His wife accidentally. Dane's father, it wasn't his fault. He was just raging. Who's next? He needs to be stopped. That is a great observation. Oh, I might steal that for my video. I hope you don't mind, Tarek. That is funny. That is hilarious. He is a serial accident murderer. Oh my gosh. He's like Final Destination in human form. Oh my gosh. That is too funny. Oh, let's see. Spaced Oyster. Don't worry, Perrin. I'm not going to die on you like that dumb broad Sally. Yeah, that was the moment we had earlier with the Fahil. Oh my gosh. MLYSS22 thought that was funny too. I think that was, unless he was laughing at what Thumb Marilyn says here. Let's see. Best potential ending for the show. Dark One escapes. Yep. Okay, there it is. You said it. You said it. Robert K. Biss. The biggest problem with Perrin and Fael in the show is the passage of time. We don't actually know how long Perrin was in the Two Rivers. It feels like a few days, but it's implied longer than that. No. Okay, so in the show at the beginning of this episode, it's like 1 week since they all decided to get together. Like it's been 1 week since the last episode. But in the last episode, it's like, what? We didn't have any Two River stuff in the last episode, did we? Or was that the episode before? Either way, it doesn't matter. I don't think he's been there longer than like 2 weeks. So he's known this girl for 2 weeks. It's weird. And the fact that his wife, there was never any reason for him to have gotten over his wife yet. That's a big problem. I got to play this episode a bit more. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're not even halfway through. I'm just going to let it go for a minute there. Clearing the Fog says, I'm happy Rafe saw himself in Wheel of Time. I'm happy for representation, even viewing warders as queer relationships. Okay. But when Amazon cuts your time, will you prioritize that or the actual story? Very well said, Clearing the Fog. I think that is the point being made here. I think that is why this has okay, this is that moment where that you can hear the wolf in Perrin. He's looking out and I was like, oh, you can hear the wolf howl. He's going to get the wolves to do something, and they don't. But Clearing the Fog, yeah, I just want to make sure folks, I agree a lot with this statement here. I think a lot of people would have been fine with little things here and there that were tweaked and changed and done to like, hey, I see myself in this story, whatever they want to do that, fine. But when you're doing that as the priority over telling the actual story, that is a huge problem. And that is the evidence that this is a vanity project. I am Vendel. If there is a 4th season, he will pop back up randomly. I fell on another platform. Yes, that is exactly what I think. Mitch Ishii the 5th. Is this live? Yes, this is live. Hello. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit behind. Oh my gosh, I'm about 10 minutes behind on the chat. I'm going to try and catch up here. But yep, we are live. I am Vendel says, Nynaeve was stabbed 11 times. Yeah, everybody's been injured way too much and then healed like nothing happened in this story. Leandrin, 2 swords to the heart. Yep. Gale Tempest, you're one I haven't read yet. New season will just have Loial back with no justification or acknowledgement of his death. I think, yeah. Wait, season 2? Did you mention a season? Oh, the next season. I don't know if it'll be the next season. If he doesn't have like a huge role there, then maybe they'll push it till further. Who knows? MLYSS22 says, Matt did basically nothing this entire series. Yeah. Nothing. What has he done? He blew the horn, which somebody put in his hands and said, here, take this up to Rand, who he stabbed and then blew the horn. He's done nothing super heroic anyway. I hope he rescues, my hope would be that they are going to be faithful to the books and the girls get kidnapped and they're imprisoned and he's the one who breaks them out using his quarterstaff skills. I would be pleased with that. It still wouldn't be exactly book accurate, but I would still be more pleased with that. That would be good. Let's see. La 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 la. Going down. Chalk Smack. This battle was meh. Yeah, it was meh. And we're about to see it start here. I'm going to play it again. There we go. All people just standing there waiting. How about get your bows? Like, whatever. Okay. Anyway. Waldo. I just read about Maureen not being dead. Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah. So she's not dead. She's just off the game board for now. Every time I say somebody says game board, I think of that video in the IT Crowd. If you've ever seen the IT Crowd, there's a moment where these three geeky characters who love playing like D&D and other things, they're going to have a video blog or a vlog about board games, and they call it the game board. Get it? Like the game board. And they make the worst video and they keep repeating game board. Sorry, just had to share that. My brain. Yes, Percy Jackson, Chalk Smack, and Summit. That is who I was talking about. Zorba Geekman. That's not a message for me. Mitch Ishii the Fifth. Yeah, did Peter Jackson do those movies? What movies? I think they were talking about Percy Jackson. Oh, maybe you meant what this person was talking about. I don't know. I'm reading other people's messages to other people, and I should not. Okay. I am Vendel says, I want it to be true just as the final FU book fans before the show is canceled. The whole, I think you're talking about the I Win Again. Let's see. Zorba Geekman has another one. I would also argue I'm far more critical of the books than most people. They are some of my favorite books, but I hate the ending. I am critical of many parts of the books. I'm critical of the books too. I just have so much to criticize about the show. I don't have time to get into that stuff. Like if I even mentioned all the things, because I cut down huge recordings. I spend like 4 hours recording a review of the episode, and I try to cut it down to under 2 hours. Sometimes I fail, but I'm basically cutting out half to more than half of my reviews in a lot of these. Let's see. So yeah, I if I talk about the books too much, it ends up taking way too much time. This show is bad on its own. I have plenty to complain about just on its own. Okay, here we go. I gotta hit pause. I wasn't even paying attention to like what happened here. Let's see. The battle starts here. And then we have the ice coming down from the sky. And then what's going on here? I don't know. People getting, oh yeah. I really could not, I was so annoyed. This was probably the biggest moment for me to be like, this was so blatantly a vanity project. Why does Maxime get the big speech to motivate the people to fight and Perrin didn't? All he did was sing a song. And I guess it's because Perrin wasn't really shown to be the leader of this whole thing, was he? It was Maxime and Alana who were the ones in charge of preparing everybody for battle, etc. But, oh gosh. Whatever. Okay, scrolling way down. JB, good one, Gail. What'd I miss? I don't know which one was Gail and what they said. Sorry. Play History says they hate Matt in this show beyond every other character. They despise him. I think that's pretty, yeah, that sounds about right. I have started to suspect that maybe the writers do not like the character Matt in the books. And that is why he has been just made into this constantly unlikable character. He's unlikable on every level. And same with Min. I think they don't like Min either, because they are both so unlikable. There's nothing about them that's redeeming. I'm sorry. They're just so obnoxious. The only thing that Matt has done that was likable so far was he fought the princes who were turned into a-holes for the show. I do not remember them being that big of jerks in the book at that point. So, Robert Cabus, $10. Thank you. If Alana could create Ice Dagger Rain, why did she wait until the Two Rivers folks started dying before doing anything? I don't know. She could have rained ice fire on the whole Trolloc army while they were coming down the mountain pass.
Actually, even better than that, I thought she was on that mount, like she was looking in that valley area. I was like, oh, is she gonna Mulan that mountainside? Like she's gonna cause the mountain to collapse and like crush all the Trollocs. She could have easily taken the trail right out from underneath their feet. Like just, oh, whatever. I don't think say easily. But you know what? If Moraine can take out an entire fleet of ships in a harbor, like why can't Alana cause a whole Trolloc army to fall off the side of a cliff and die? Why? Who knows? Because nobody's keeping track of the power structure, the power levels in this show. Hawksmoor says, oh, thank you again, Robert Cabus. Thank you so much. Very generous. Hawksmoor 42 says, there's no way this show let a guy rescue the girls. See Egwene's plot in season 2. Yeah. Let's see. That was my comment about Matt possibly saving the two girls being in prison, which I don't know if they are going to be. Traditional says, who speared Alana in this episode? Only Grandma knows. Seriously, we don't know. It just, a spear came flying at her from out in the forest, and that's all we got. And yeah, no more information required. Oh my gosh. And we've already seen her get speared, right? Yeah, because that would have happened before Maxime's big speech. So it was right. Here she is doing her thing. She's iced that guy. And then these guys come in through the gate. Yeah, I'll just let it play here. There we go. We got Alana like coming home. Right? Yes. Everything's great. And then she gets speared. And then this lady knows how to make a shield. Are any weaves difficult to do? Or can you channel for the first time in your life and you know how to do things like heal people who have been mortally wounded or create a big shield like this? Is that like, do you have to be taught how to do these things or do you just know? Oh my gosh, this makes no sense. Okay. Donald Gooch, Andrew, no chance. 1, they aren't getting season 4. Also, that's a cool Matt story and they don't do cool Matt stories. Yeah. Robert Cabus says, careful guys, you're getting into spoiler territory there. Okay, I didn't read what the spoiler territory stuff. Traditional says, LOL makes sense. Not sure what you guys are talking about. Dan Wheeler, cute puppy. Loial will rescue Moraine. Oh my gosh, that would be really silly. Has she gone into something? I don't know what's going on. Anyway, that would be funny if they somehow like, now these two, these are connected, the ways and whatever. I don't think they're going to do a doorway thing because it's going to happen in the waste. They're not going to have this because they're not carrying around a doorway. So they're not going to have her fall through the doorway or whatever, except this happened at the docks. So they're not going to do it. I think that Lanfear and Moraine are going to be fighting over the Sarkharnen, sort of like that battle at the end of Willow, the movie, where you've got the two sorceresses fighting over the wand. Oh my gosh, I would love to see these two women wrestling over. I don't know if you guys ever saw that, this live stream I did over at Prophet of the Dragon with him, but we refer to the Sarkharnen as the boob because the sword is phallic. And so this must be a boob for women, right? They're fighting over it and they're going to be I think Lanfear is going to be blasted to smithereens. Moraine's going to have her go nuclear and she'll disappear or something. Or maybe she'll just be wounded and then she'll be laying there and then she and Lan get a final moment while she dies. And that's the end. Do you think Rand is ever going to find out that Moraine was working with Lanfear this whole time and like helping Lanfear? Do you think that's going to happen? I mean, if it does, it's not going to be given the time it should get in order to have characters react to this, and then she'll be dead. I don't know. Robert Day says, hello. I love how they wait for many villagers to die before raining down icy death. Shaking my head. It does not make sense. Like, and then for her to do something, I think what annoys me more is the fact that they didn't do anything more creative. I was sitting there waiting for like, oh, they're going to do something really cool. It'll be different from what we saw earlier. But it was literally just the same stuff. It was something coming from the sky, raining down on people. It wasn't lightning. It was just ice spears. No imagination. Think of all the things that you could do with the one power, and you're just going to do that over and over and over and over again. Something falls from them from the sky. Okay. Gale Tempest, how much of the Moraine and Lanfear fight are they going to adapt? Are they really going to cut Lan and Moraine's connection after an entire season about building it back? They're going to have to. I don't know. I mean, if she's gone, and I really think she has to be gone, then they're going to have to do that. So, poor actor who plays Daniel Henney, actor who plays Lan is going to have to stick with the show. He can't die yet because he's still around. All right, what do we got happening here? Oh, that was the drunk lady dies. Then Maxim gets up and he's like, you guys are a bunch of morons. That's why you should stay and fight. It's weird. They could have done so much more to tap into, like, you know, they're stubborn people, and the stubbornness should be something to be proud of. But instead, he basically just said, you're too, you know, stupid people are too stupid to give up. They keep fighting. That is not praising these people. Whatever. Okay, let's keep going. I haven't heard from you in a while. Fadeon, and I hope I'm saying that right. This show came at the wrong time. I wish it had been made before 2018 or in the next few years. Now that people are waking up and fighting back, that this stuff isn't entertainment but lectures. Yeah, it does. You do see that there is a really big push to make statements about current events, but using stories that are written and have nothing to do with our current events. And again, that's just, you're hijacking somebody else's story to tell your own. It's not seen as respectful to the source material. It is seen as disrespectful to the source material every single time. Got to play more of this. We got Loial going off into the ways. And for some reason, they're not going to go in with him to protect him. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. CPT Bob Ross says, absurd theory. The controversial ending will be Rand dying in the dark one, muttering, you lose again, lose there. Probably. Okay, here we got the girls are going to heal Alana, but then they can't heal all of a sudden. This was probably one of the worst moments for me in this show. I was like, you got to be kidding. Suddenly they can't heal. But see, they couldn't let Alana back into the fight because she would have just, we'd all be going like, why isn't she just raining lightning down on all the Trollocs again? Like, why isn't she just doing that? Moraine could do it fine. Why aren't you doing it? Whatever. Philip Griesel says they made the heroes the villains and the villains heroes. Yep, they did. Donald Gooch says Min is straight up evil in the show. Yes, she is. That is just bizarre. What a bizarre choice. The Kara Karn, Min is so butchered. Nothing likable about her in the show. Nothing. Play history. Can we stop making the I win again, lose there and joke? It's getting quite old. Yeah, let's pause on that for a bit. It's a lot. Robert Cabus, random question. Did anyone else watch the Winter Dragon pilot, that really old attempt to adapt the books into a show? You're talking about the prologue, where they adapted the prologue. I did watch that back when season 1 came out, or not when it came out, but when I started reviewing season 1. I don't remember much of it, actually. When you have to read and watch, but when you have to read so many stories, because I critique manuscripts also, you just kind of forget the details of these stories. Let's see. Spaced Oyster, Prophet of the Dragon, has a video comparing the prince fight from the books to the show. It's a good one. Oh, nice. That'll be an interesting one. I don't usually watch other people's reviews of episodes until I've already done my reviews, because I don't want to accidentally just like say what they're saying, or like I get caught into there. I want to see where my brain goes, and then I watch theirs and I go, damn, I should have said that too. But anyway, let's see. Got a comment about Min. I'm gonna pass that. Philip Greasel says Billy Zane, the best dragon. Oh yeah, that was in. I didn't even know that was Billy Zane. I just did not notice when I saw that. Wheel of Woke Sellouts linked with 3 to what? Do you mean in the show? Alana linking with the 2 girls and the drunk lady? Yeah. Waldo says, I feel like Moraine not being dead is a big spoiler for people who haven't gotten to book 11 yet. Yeah, somebody mentioned it to me, so that she's gone, but not for. I mean, it was one of those things where I didn't think she was dead in the book because it felt like Sirius Black, and I know that this came out for the Wheel of Time was before the Harry Potter books, but even when Sirius Black died, I was like, I don't think he's really dead. I don't think he's dead. But everybody was like, no, he was dead. That was basically, it was implied that was an execution platform that he walked through the arch, and it was a form of execution. And when she went through the doorway in this thing, I did not really get that impression. I felt like this was something else. So even the letters that she left behind, I did not feel like that she was gone. So it wasn't a huge spoiler for me. It was spoiling, but for me, it wasn't something I was like, oh no, I've been so disappointed. I kind of suspected that she wasn't dead. Cat the Wine Yogi says, because we are watching Tombstone and Billy Zane. Oh, you guys are watching Tombstone and Billy Zane? Okay. Donald Gooch was more book accurate than any moment in this god-awful show. I'm guessing you're talking about this. I Am Vendel says, they didn't even let other girls rescue Egwene. They didn't even let other girls. Oh, yeah. No, she had to rescue herself, which means anybody can rescue themselves from being a prisoner, being a Suldam or a Damane of the Shan-Chan. Doe Wolf, who speared Alana? Who healed Alana? Is Alana just a force ghost? Nobody knows. I guess so. I mean, I'll never believe it if she dies again. I mean, I didn't believe it this time. Why would I believe it if it happens again? Ulbelk. Oh, you were right. Me? Who was right? Somebody was right. Clearing the Fog says, Rafe sees Matt as an avatar of the people he dislikes. Matt is his avatar of book cloaks, etc., which is why he goes out of his way to weirdly insert bi-curious innuendos into Matt's story beats. Is that right? Has he said that he sees Matt as like the favorite character of I mean, Matt is a favorite character of like a lot of the book readers. So is that why he doesn't like him, perhaps? Okay, I did not like this moment where Perrin goes, you should have known. First of all, he says, you should have known that he was a bad guy, that Padden Fane was a dark friend. And it's like, how? There was just so many things wrong with this whole scene here. So you just open up the gates and let the White Cloaks in, who nobody in the town has seen as like, oh, these are people we can rely on. Like, you just open it up in advance. Somebody should have gone out and talked to them. And that's when you get Dane saying like, it was, we're here to help. It's the right thing to do. And then Perrin has to convince the people to let them in. But then it would have been like, how'd you get past the Trollocs? And like, what Trollocs? Oh my gosh, there's just so much that's just weird about this. And then him saying, you should have known that Padden Fane was a dark friend. I mean, I feel like they've been hanging out for over a week, the White Cloaks and Padden Fane and the gang. Are they that good at actors? Are Padden Fane and the gang, are they that good at pretending to be White Cloaks, who in the books are like kind of snobbish about like, we're about, following the light and doing the right thing. And like, oh my gosh, whatever. Just so much wrong. Andrew Rose, thank you so much for the $5. I really don't know anything about the biz, but Amazon's model seems unpredictable. Maybe the show sells books, in which case they might keep it up. I don't think that the show is going to sell quite as many books as would sustain this show. And even if they did, I don't think their cut is going to be big enough from that. Yeah, I just don't think, I don't think so. I really don't know. Who knows? Like, all the money that they've I think it's just poor understanding of how the business works. Like, Rings of Power and this show were started before, I believe, before they started, or seemingly started, to rely on the wisdom of, I think is it MGM that they bought? I can't remember. But I don't think they knew what the hell they were doing. They just assumed this is how much it costs to make something like this. And, yeah, you hire some writers, you hire a producer, a showrunner, some people who have been in the business before. I don't know if they realize that a lot of people, at least from what I have heard, that are in this business get to high positions having had no lead up to that position. And they did not get there because they had the next step position below that, or the next step position below that, or the next step. Oftentimes it's just I'm going to give you this opportunity. And it's not something they have proven. If you're going to experiment with millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars that went into making this show, why would you do that as an experiment? Why would you do anything experimental? I'd be like, no, I'm going to hire only people who absolutely have proven themselves to be able to do this. And they're going to be the ones who do it. You've got the money. You've got the money. The Kara Karn says, I just watched Dune Part 2, and it's painful seeing what a competent Wheel of Time adaptation could have been. Yeah. Even with the differences between the books and the movies, at least the movies on their own stand really, really well. It's such a disappointment. Okay, I better hit play here. Yeah, we got. Okay, so the Padden Fane has been revealed. The women's circle is like, quick, take the kids and get out. When the hell was this tunnel dug? Can somebody tell me when they dug this tunnel? Because, how long? Okay, did they do it within a week? Did they dig the tunnel in 1 week? Because that's how long it's been since they decided we're going to band together here and stay in the town and protect ourselves. So they dug a tunnel that goes way out into the middle of the woods. That's not easy to do. I'm just saying, it's amazing if they are able to dig a tunnel like that. Anyway, but that's just a nitpick. Among the many things wrong with this episode, that's a nitpick. By the way, says Tarek T, thanks for the work you do. You're welcome. I enjoy your content. I was curious, what was your thoughts about crazy Rand scene? Oh, you mean like him going kind of bonkers at the end of episode 5, where they got attacked by Samael, and then he tried to resurrect the kid and bring her back. To me, they are introducing his insanity in moments that were not really supposed to be that. This should have been a very tragic scene, a very sorrowful and tragic scene. And instead, we have a moment of, is he going to go mad here? That's what it felt like. And then Moraine intervenes, and then he's okay. I don't know. I'll have to think about that one a lot more. It's a good question, though. About the Rand going insane scene. Yeah, I just don't think that this was the right moment. They're introducing his insanity, I feel, at a much higher level than it was in the book at this point. But then again, this moment happened earlier than we are in the show, because this would have happened in Tyr at the beginning of book, 4? Because he's already taken Tyr, he's gotten Kalendor, and he uses Kalendor trying to bring her back. I got to think about that more. But it was more sad, I seem to recall, than it was anything else. He was like, I got to try and help her. Like, can't I do something good? And it was almost like I can't. I'm not able to, of all the things I'm able to do, I can't do this. And it was tragic more than it was, is he going bonkers? And I feel like him having that moment of madness in that scene in the show took away from the tragedy. That's just my opinion. Let's see. I actually like the idea of them making this a girl that he knows, although in the show, he killed her. She wasn't a victim of an attack by Dark Friends. She died by Shadow Spawn or whatever. She died in this because he collapsed the building that she was in. So, he... Okay. 3XP for 355. Why didn't she create a ward to alert her? What are we talking about here? I just scrolled back to try to figure out what you're talking about. Are you talking about Alana? getting hurt. You know what really is weird to me is how were the Trollocs following so close behind the White Cloaks and none of the good White Cloaks noticed? Because the bad White Cloaks reveal themselves once they're inside the walls of the town. And then the Trollocs are like right on top of the town. I'm like, no one noticed them out there. I mean, I guess they're just not very good lookouts. I thought that a lot of these people are supposed to be like shepherds. So wouldn't they be used to looking out for possibly wolves coming to kill their sheep? Just saying. Maybe it's me nitpicking again. But yeah. All right, playing a little bit more. They go through the tunnel. We get the Molotov cocktails. The Trollocs are here. Now we're in the ways. And he is trying to smash the gate. And then he changes his mind and he's trying to smash, and he decides, I'm going to smash the ground. Okay. And then they're going to kill all the Trollocs who show up. Okay. And this also was weird to me. They're like, we need to go get more reinforcements. The Trollocs, they need reinforcements. That's why they show up to like the Waygate. They're going to get reinforcements. Where are they getting reinforcements from? That is there like a huge ass army hanging out somewhere in the way in the ways, like just waiting to come out? Why didn't they come out? It's really weird. Oh, whatever. You can ask a million questions and it just leaves it's like crickets at the end. There's no answer. If you do nothing, nobody will notice. I swear that is somewhere tattooed on one of the writer's hands, and they just look at it every once in a while. I'm like, oh yeah, if I do nothing, nobody will notice. Doewolf or Dewolf. With healing in particular, we are explicitly told that novices are not allowed to cast healing on a person until they've practiced hundreds of times, much like how you don't let undergrads do surgery. Yeah. In this show, though, anybody can do anything for the first time ever. Like, I thought it was supposed to be a really big deal let's just talk about the show by itself. Leandrin was so impressed that Nynaeve was able to mimic a particular weave after seeing it once. But now you've got women who've never done healing before, never seen healing before, and you've got another one who's never seen a shield before and never channeled before, as far as we know, except to touch the source so that she can be channeled through whatever. And now she can make a shield, and the girls can heal, and the girls can set somebody on fire. Oh, okay. So it's not that impressive that Nynaeve was able to do anything, or that Egwene was able to do anything. Everybody's special. Let's see. Shaidar Haran. There's a doorway in the waste. Do you think that there's going to be one at, I forget what the name of the place is where all of the Aiel go and meet. Do you think there's going to be one there? Because I don't see them carrying one around, like carrying them out of Rhuidean, which is what they did. Didn't they take this doorway out of Rhuidean, and that's where they got the doorway from? Okay, I'm going to hit play. I actually like that the Aiel, it's left to our imagination that the two women fight these guys off. Like, that's fine. I don't mind when people leave things up to our imagination when we know how it's going to go down. Like, okay, they're badass and they're going to fight really well. I'm like, all right, we know that they're going to be successful. We don't get to see it, though. It's sometimes when you leave it up to your imagination, actually, oftentimes, it's better than you could have ever shown. Like, if they showed us them fighting them, I'm sure I'd be like, there's like 30 of these Trollocs and Dark Friends. How come they are not attacking the girls from behind? Like, there's no way, I'm sorry, two women could not take out 30 Trollocs. That just would never happen. Let's see. Adam Roach. The best analog I can think of for channeling is it's like martial arts fighting. You know some things by instinct, but still need training for the rest. Yeah, I that's a good way to do it. I think that there's some things you can do impulsively, but nothing intricate like healing and even shielding. Okay, maybe shielding I could see, but I don't think it would look exactly like all the other shields that everybody else has been using. But that's a nitpick. That would be a nitpick. Zorba Geekman. They just cut out too much of Dune's story, and changes made again, I don't think were great. If I were to watch just the movies with no knowledge of how things go down in the books, I'd say the movies stand on their own very well. Like, I can't really think of a way that they don't stand very well, except maybe that the whole the prophecy of of what's her name? Chani bringing Paul back after he is drunk the water of life. I don't think that was portrayed very clearly. I don't think that I even watch it and I'm like, I have to Google how this happens because I do not remember how this went down or why it works. And I feel like they could have done that in a more clear way. Here's someone I haven't read before. I hated this episode so much, says TFI. Yeah, a lot of people really disliked this one. Sky Squirrel. And you know why they disliked it? Because Perrin's supposed to be the hero and he's really not. And yet at the end, they treat him like he is. Doesn't make any sense. Sky Squirrel says, wow, y'all are so negative. Yeah, people on here are usually pretty disappointed in how the show has done things. Okay, here's a positive for me. And I mentioned this to folks immediately after I saw this episode, is Perrin and Fail, and this is not a book thing, Perrin and Fail fighting together. I loved that. I love the way that they're fighting together, that he is taking out the bad guys or disabling the big bad guys, and she is finishing them off behind him, because that's exactly how this sort of dynamic would work on the battlefield. You would have the big guy disabling the big opponents, and while they're recovering, before they have a chance to recover, she is giving them the basically the mortal wounds. They can't recover from her slitting their throats, basically. That was great. I really liked seeing that, and I want to see more of that. But now we've got Perrin being taken, so I don't know how that's going to go down. All right. Wow. I am 20 minutes behind on these comments. Going down. TFI, who is new, I've not seen you except for that one other one before. The whole fight is unrealistic. Loial isn't nearly as terrifying as an Ogier should have been. I think he did what he could with what he had. I mean, what are you going to do at this point? Like, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but it also wasn't the best thing. Okay, then we've got, that was, okay. I am so unclear about who the heck Child Valda is killing here. Are these the bad white cloaks? And if so, how does he know who's bad and who's not? Like, this guy just randomly comes across him and he just skewers him. And then, we're going to play this out. He's walking around looking like, what are you looking for? Just start killing Trollocs. And he ends up going into like a back room where Alana is. Okay, here you've got Aram hiding with the baby. On its own, this is fine. When you compare it to what happened to him in the book, though, it changes his motivation. He did not choose in this moment. This is, to me, like a crime of passion, or not even passion, desperation to save the baby and himself. But in the books, he consciously, I don't want to be a pacifist anymore. That is a fundamental change to a character's motivation. So I don't know how it's going to affect him later on in his story, but it's always dangerous to do that earlier. Okay, here's Perrin. For some reason, he was backed all the way into the blacksmith's room, like the smithy fighting. And out here, we've got other people fighting, and he's looking out at people fighting, but he himself is just standing there. And then Fail's like, you got to go out there and fight. I don't remember what she says. But he looks at the wolf drawing, and then he picks up the hammer. Or was that the axe? He had the axe, and then he grabs the hammer. And now he and Fail are going to go out and kick some ass. I liked this. See this? She's like, yes, I'm ready to go. And he goes out, and he uses that sledgehammer, and I think the axe too. And he's taking out bad guys left and right. But they're sometimes just falling because he's hit them so hard, but not necessarily dead. And so she's coming up after that and taking the ones that he's injured and giving them the mortal wound. Like that's great. I like that. That's a fun fighting dynamic I want to see more of. Let me see. I accidentally skipped back too far. Here we go. Anyway, so they're doing that. And then I don't remember what happened here. They're fighting still. Oh, son of a nutcracker. Why did I do that? There we go. Okay, he's killing Trollocs. And then Child Valda comes into this room and finds, or not even in this room, it's behind the building. Why was he back there? There were no bad guys back there. He's just wandering around looking for what? Looking for Alana, looking for a channeler? And then he finds these two girls, And suddenly the two girls who could not channel 5 seconds ago, now they can channel. And they're going to take him out. So he's on fire and he dies. And Alana's like, yay, you killed him. Did she know who he was? Did Alana know who Child Valda was? Was he there when she got arrowed? I don't think he was. So how did she know who he was? Why was she all happy to see him die? Whatever. And yeah, they watch him burn because, that's what you do when you're a little kid and you're super happy to kill somebody. I don't care if he killed their mom. They don't even know if he killed. How do they know he was the one who killed them? Oh, I guess they know. They know. But Alana doesn't. Anyway, whatever. Okay, their town is burning down. You've got people killing, more people killing. Maxime's killing. The women's circle is killing. Women are dying. Trollocs are roaring. Perrin is watching people do stuff. Padan Fain slices the throat of somebody and laughs. Is that Dane standing up there? Somebody's standing up on top of this ladder, or I don't know, whatever. Okay. I think that is supposed to be Dane. And then Perrin's killing more Trollocs. And then Fail is killing Trollocs. And they're getting closer and closer to each other. Padan Fain and Perrin. If you're going to build up that Padan Fain and Perrin have this close relationship, they should have shown some of it at some point, or it should have been brought up more frequently. But I think it was only mentioned once before that Padan Fain used to wave at my wife. And now he's a bad guy. But see, Padan Fain and Matt had the relationship before, right? It was Padan Fain and Matt. That's what we saw in season 1. And I'm talking about the show only here, guys. Padan Fain and Matt had a secret deal thing going on. I don't recall Padan Fain even talking to Perrin. But here, it's like, we have a personal thing against each other. Oh, whatever. So he pins down Padan Fain. Fail is worried about Perrin, and he's like ready to kill Padan Fain. And instead, he's like, he doesn't kill him, and he asks, why do you hate us? And Padan Fain's basically like, I do not give a crap about you guys. I'm doing this for the Dark Lord. That's basically what he says there. Okay, let's keep going. Do some more messages here. Jamie Rays. Oh, that's not a message for me. That's somebody else. X525 Crossfire. Winter Dragon with Billy Zane. Oh, yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Sky Squirrel. Wait. First, you're complaining people are healed too easily, and now complaining they aren't getting healed. No, I'm complaining about people who knew how to heal 5 seconds ago and then suddenly don't know how to heal anymore. And then they're able to kill somebody. It's like the ability to heal only when we want you to heal. And then you're unable to do it when we need somebody to not get back into the fight. So they didn't heal Alana at that moment because we couldn't get Alana back in the fight. And we also wanted to create a moment of suspension, I believe, for when Child Valda walks in and he's like gonna kill Alana, and it's just these two girls. Like, oh no, is he gonna kill the girls? But no, suddenly they're able to channel again, even though they weren't just a few seconds ago. It's just very inconsistent. Either they know how to channel or they don't. And being able to channel something like healing so quickly, there's way too many problems with this inconsistency. Jamie Rays. Only book to film will be worse than this Wheel of Time adaptation is the movie Battlefield Earth. Wasn't Battlefield Earth a video game, or is that a book? I don't know. It sounds very familiar. Sometimes I'm just really bad with names. All right, I'm going to skip down a few here. The Kara Karn. Ironically, Billy Zane is better at Shamael. Who would have thought? Yeah, I guess so. Let's see. Andrew Rose says, in the books, there's a prophecy that Moraine has to be there for Rand to win, so it broadcasts that she will return. Oh, really? Wait a minute. I don't know if I've gotten that, but it sounds really familiar. This might be something that's been spoiled to me before. I mean, I know that she comes back. I don't know that she comes back, but I know that everybody kind of or some people at least, kind of meet her again. Sorry, somebody closed a door. When people close doors in my house, it rattles my door because I have no insulation on my door. It's just like, this house is a construction project that stopped about 75% of the way through. But it happens when you're all busy. Drew ID is talking to Sky Squirrel. Let's see. Traditional. I always have to go up at the end. Traditional ? It's rare to find Wheel of Time show critiques. Thank you for your service. You're welcome. I never came into this wanting to hate on the show because I wanted this show to be good. I always heard that Wheel of Time was a great book series. And then I was like, oh, there's this show. And, all the advertisements have said is really good. And so I watched it and I was like, okay, a little different. By the time we got to episode 3, though, I was off the bandwagon of like, this is savable. Like, when you're making such simple mistakes as messing up Lan and Nynaeve, I don't like Nynaeve at all. It was too much. I mean, it was obvious right out of the gates that they were changing major things, but yeah. Anyway, let's see. King Tiakim, I think that's it. Matt is most readers' favorite character. Okay, so that would be why. Then, if people are saying that Rafe is attacking this character because he does not like when the book readers are the book fans are criticizing the show, then he's like attacking them. That would make sense then. All right, I got to skip down a lot now because I'm way behind. I'm only going to stop for people whose names I don't recognize or have not read today. Maybe Moraine is dead in the show. I wonder if Rosamund Pike has left the show. She's doing other movies now. So somebody, one of the White Cloaks who keeps abreast of these sort of things, was saying that that she has actually moved out of the country where she had moved her family to because they were making this show. So I think she's probably dead. The character. Rosamund Pike. Owl OTL. Rosamund Pike has said openly she wants to come back. Okay, so then maybe they've done something with her to like she's gone, but she won't come. Whatever. Probably doing what the book did. Hopefully doing that. Angst Kitten, thank you so much for the tip. $5. I'm frustrated that the twins are already strong channelers. The show makes it seem like innate magic strength is more important than training. Yeah, that is a problem. And this is part 1 of 2. Okay, I promise I will look for part 2 of 2. Yeah. It's a big problem because now anybody who can channel, we're going to expect that they should be able to jump in and save the day. And when they don't, we're going to be like, you're useless, which is how everybody feels about Nynaeve right about now. Nerdporeal Lifeform. Hey, folks, so just so you know, so I'm going to read your thing. Hi, The Sword and the Pen Reflections. Just got done with the book stream. Crown of Swords was a very interesting book. Happy the show will never adapt that. So Nerdporeal has asked me to come on and talk about Star Trek The Next Generation, which I'm a huge fan of. I don't know if everybody knows that, but I'm really into The Next Generation. And we might talk about some other stuff, but I don't know when we're going to do that. I don't know if we've settled on a time, but it's like in May, I think. Anyway, when we get closer to that, I'll let folks know. Down again. Angst Kitten, here's your part 2 of 2. Thank you for another $5. You didn't need to do that. I was going to look for you anyway. But thank you. The novices seem to clean far more than they actually learn. So why does anyone bother going to the White Tower at all? Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned that in my episode 2 review, but it's like, I think I cut it out. I think I cut that out of what I finally posted. But they don't do any learning. We've seen one instance of novices training. We've seen more of warders training to be warders than we've seen of Aes Sedai training to be Aes Sedai. We've had one Aes Sedai channeling lesson in all of the show in the White Tower. And I think we've had at least 3, maybe 4 scenes of warders training. Okay. I mean, I don't mind. I like watching the men. Like we had some very nice bodies in the scenes that we've been able to see of the warders training. So I'm okay with that. Fine. If they want to make this a show like that for me, whatever, go for it. It's a shame you have to waste so much money when literally you could just have nice bodies fencing in a white room and I'd be just as happy. So anyway, let's see. Going down. Preston Jensen, glad to catch this live. Missed the last one. Ep 7 was, for me, the weakest of the season, but a lot of people seem to love it. Interested to hear your thoughts. Yeah, this episode just, its setups and payoffs felt very forced, and the payoffs felt unearned. Like them calling him Lord Perrin at the end of this. How does that make any sense? All he does is sacrifice himself for you at the end for no reason. Like, what? The reason why the town started losing was because the White Cloaks showed up and were let into the town. Why? Like, there's no reason for him to turn himself over. He should be really pissed off at the White Cloaks right now. Like, we were doing good, and then you guys showed up. We're even now. That's how it should be. His argument should have been at that point, no. I offered myself to you guys if you would come and defend us. But when you came, you brought the enemy into our defenses. So the deal's off. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, it's just so hard. Like, anytime you find something to praise about this show, it immediately comes with, but then they did this, or it only makes sense if you ignore that they did this before. Arlene M. The tunnel part is a copy of Helm's Deep in Lord of the Rings. They seem to be trying to copy bits and pieces from those movies. Yeah, they do. And a lot in this episode, actually. Yeah, a lot in this episode. We even had the White Cloaks coming in like the elves, except that the elves were the bad guys in this time, or had the bad guys hiding them. It'd be really hard to disguise orcs as elves. Just saying. But that also didn't happen in the middle of the battle. So there's a point in this episode where Maxime is out in the pass. Like they're like, okay, the Trollocs have to come through this narrow pass. That's how they can get to the town. For some reason, that's the only way they can get to the town. Okay. And they've created these blockades, and they're holding the line at these blockades. But then after Alana gets speared and they do their fighting, suddenly Maxime is back in the town, and he's like, we couldn't hold the line. Like we lost basically, but your town, the Two Rivers people, did a really good job. You'd be super proud of them. Like, he's reporting to Perrin that that's how things went down. But then why aren't the Trollocs right on their butts, like right behind them? This is strategy 101. This is like the first thing you learn. If you get your enemy on the run, you do not give them ground. You follow right behind them. I don't imagine Trollocs would retreat. And I think Alana at some point said they made a strategic retreat after she rained the ice down on them. Now, that actually I could understand, that you rain down ice on them and they run away in fear, and then they realize, wait, the rain has stopped, and then they start attacking again. That makes sense. But to have broken the line after that, and all the good guys are running back into their fortress, for you to have not continued attacking there makes no sense at all. And then when the White Cloaks arrive after that, they're like, what Trollocs are you talking about? So where did they go? Oh boy. I mean, okay. Let's see, going down. I'm so far behind now. All right, I'm gonna hit play on this really quick. They're talking, and he's like, yeah, I'm just doing this for the Dark One. And then the bad guys start coming, and you got now, okay, I thought at this point where we see Loial starting to sing, or he's starting to hum, and then he sings, I thought he was going to be tree singing, and I thought he was going to make the vines in the door or something come and like seal the door, and like that was what he's going to do. I was like, that should have been your plan all along, and then you should run so that way you can live. But no, he's singing the I forget what it's called. It's the battle song of Remember Manetheren, basically, long ago, that one. That's what he's singing. It's not a tree singing. It's that song. And then you'll see here, waits till the enemy is almost on top of him. And then he smashes the floor. And yeah, like he's waiting for them to be right there. I mean, it's a good thing he knew that it would only take one more swing. And then he falls into the depths of infinity. Like, he's gone forever. Like, goodbye. And so is the gate. And on the outside, you've got the Aiel fighting, and then the gate explodes and they live. And look at how big that blast is. That is the blast happening up there behind the Two Rivers. It's like a freaking nuclear explosion. But the Aiel girls who were right there survived this. No signs of failure. Anyway, Perrin's like, see, your troops are not coming. Because, yeah, Paddon Fane was like, I'm not afraid. I've got thousands more on the way. And now here, Perrin is like, oh, yeah, that looks like they're not coming anymore. And suddenly, Paddon Fane is scared, and he starts, like, begging for his life. And Perrin is like, why? You're going to call off the troops. Like, call them off and tell them to go, and then I'll let you live. And he does it. Paddon Fane literally tells all of the others to, like, all the other Trollocs in Trolloc tongue, or whatever that would be, to go. And they all like, okay. And they get up and leave. For some reason, they all leave. I don't know why they would stop. They were winning. They were winning. They were in the town. There was no reason for them to retreat except that Paddon Fane like told them to retreat. And Paddon Fane is gone. He's free. He's with the Trollocs now. Why didn't they just, hey, before we get out of the walls, let's stop and come back and keep fighting? Oh, boy. Okay. All right, I got to read some more here. Sven Dragon says, Mashadar was tickling them in their R&R. What? Kane Legion says, Warner Brothers did the Dune movies. They also did the great HBO show adaptation of His Dark Materials, the beloved fantasy book trilogy Golden Compass, Subtle Knife, and Amber Spyglass. Wheel of Time was not as lucky. No, it was not. And it's very, very sad. Stam Sodanon, who is one of my newest patrons. Thank you for becoming a patron, by the way, Stan. You still got to teach me how to say your last name because I don't know how to say it. The White Tower is pretty much a pointless place in the show. It is. You don't, like, only bad things are happening there. The girls didn't learn how to do anything there. All they did was get kidnapped by one of the tower's people. And now they couldn't trust anybody there. It is a pointless place. And it has no control over the town, Tar Valon, because they weren't able to prevent, oh my gosh, they could not find a group of like 8 people staying in a hotel and prancing around town announcing, I'm the Dragon Reborn. I am the man who blew the horn of Valir. Like, it's just, okay. All right, going down. Let's see. I wonder if I've missed any of these starred ones. Nope, I'm all caught up on the starred ones. Okay, sorry. Oh, didn't mean to click you again there, Angst Kitten. Sorry about that. But thank you for the money, especially the twice money there. Let's see. Okay, Sven Dragon says, what the hell is a Ganima? Janima? Oh, that must be something else. Yes. Let's see. Going down. Kane Legion says, Rafe's cast Avienda as Timu Chani. I kind of felt like Avienda was Chani, like, inspired anyway. So that works. Let's see. Rianne D2203 says, saw my brother-in-law this weekend. I didn't even know he read The Wheel of Time, as he doesn't come off as a fantasy reader, but he absolutely hates this show. It's such a strange dynamic, the show and the books. Like, you have to have read the books to understand what's going on in the show. But if you've read the books, you know that things are way different than what's happening in the show and way better. I don't know. William Holt says, nobody in this show, including the warders, knows how to scout. Yeah. And Perrin should have had the wolves out there, like, telling him where are the Trollocs. Like, the wolves should have been the one to tell him the Trollocs are gathering and they're gonna attack tonight. That could have prompted him, because there's a line in here where he just looks up at the side of the mountain and you can see there's a bunch of Trollocs gathering together, and he goes, they're gonna, actually, I don't even think he sees them. He hears that there's lots of Trollocs gathering, and he goes, they're gonna attack tonight. It would have been so much better if you had the wolves watching them and the wolves going, things are different now. They've been gathered for a while, but they're now, they seem like they are heading towards the town, like they are ready to pounce. Like, this is the tension before the pounce. Something like that. Oh. Superpian. That's a different name. I'm not sure I'm saying it right. You're gonna have to fix my pronunciation. The show has way too many writers, and they have no idea what other episodes have going on. The end of this episode, the voiceover says Perrin had his family taken from him, but Tam smuggled them out. I think, yes, what you're saying sounds probably, yeah. And it was one of my videos, the one where I saw the first episode early. I included a clip from Brandon Sanderson talking about how they edit this show. They do it. They don't even, it sounds like they don't even wait for their episodes to be done before they start filming them. So they're not waiting till the whole season is done and then editing it as a whole to make sure that you've got proper build up, setup, and payoff. They're not even doing that. They're not doing that. But I think it seems like they're also not even finishing whole episodes before they film them, which is just so, oh, what? I don't know if they're doing that for this season. I think this season has evidence that there is some episode-based editing happening, but it's not that much. It's weird. Stan Sodanon says, I think everyone agrees that the core issue in the show is writing. Yes, with editing and fight choreography following closely. I would say editing more so than the fight choreography, although I do have problems with the fight choreography. Even though I really love good fight scenes and they are personally important to me, if I think about it objectively, the fight choreography is not very high on the list of on the scale of what's important. Like, what is the most crucial to making this show successful? It's pretty low down there, pretty low. Like right there with, I'd even say like special effects don't have to be that great, but the writing is like number one. The writing has to be good. Or the concept has to be so unique and original. But this is an adaptation, in which case the concept and the writing has already been, well, the story, the plot, the character progression, that's all been done for you. All you have to do is translate it. Frustrating. TFI, did anyone else feel like Valda saw the weaves of the twins? Yeah, he did. Everybody can see everybody's weaving in this. Nobody's invisible. Except that one moment, Rand could not see Lanfear channeling. Like when Lanfear was dry humping Rand in season 2, right before Moraine came and, slit her throat and whatnot, it was like clear weaves moving around her torso. And I was like, oh, this is how they're doing men can see women, or, Rand can kind of sense women channeling. This is how they're doing it. But they have not been consistent with that anywhere. Jerome, I think it's Jerome, Cologinus. Gosh, I'm sorry. I'm so bad with these pronunciations. The fighting dynamic is a translation of what they did as a pair in this. Fighting dynamic is a translation of what they did as a pair in the Stone of Tyr during the Stone Stands chapter. It's through Matt's point of view, I think, or Rand's. I don't remember exactly. Okay, are you talking about Perrin and Fail? I believe you might be talking about Perrin and Fail. Am I that far behind? Oh my gosh, I'm a half hour behind all the messages. I got to skip down. I'm only going to read ones of people I have not seen before. I got to do somebody. Okay, everybody here I've seen before, so I'm just going to pick somebody. Spaced Oyster. Min had a collective viewing of the whole group that arrived in that one town she was in. It started with you guys adding. It's an incomplete message. Andrew Lund has a message for me. I agree about wanting the show to be good. I love the books. It hurts my heart watching this poorly written bad fan fiction. I can only imagine people who know what happens in the story, and because I have not even finished this, but I can see that they've ruined a lot of it. It must be so heartbreaking, and I'm so sorry for all of you folks. Ian Vera, Wheel of Time managed to get on Nielsen finally, but it was not on the overall charts. Do you think season 3 will be the last? I have no idea. I don't know what their benchmark is. Like, they must pass this in order for them to get another season approved. The only reason we had 3 seasons before is because each next season was being produced before the previous season aired. So season 2 was in production before season 1 came out, and season 3 was in production before season 2 came out. And this is the only time that they have not done that. So it's like they said, okay, we're waiting, and then we're going to see how it does. So I don't know what their benchmark is, but I heard they have to have at least the same numbers as season 1, and I highly doubt they're going to do that. I think this show has lost a huge percentage of its viewers and not gained many, which it's sad. I mean, I feel bad for all the people who have invested a lot of time and effort into this, and like the costumers, people doing the sets. People doing the special effects this season have been good. Episode 4 had dang good special effects. It looked awesome. The music is nice, but I feel bad for them. They're going to have to, at least they can come away and say, forget that the show was no good. But did you see those costumes on those Aes Sedai? I did those. Okay. Cody A. Sparks says something to the Karn. Okay, so I don't need to respond to that one. Oh, Scott too. Hey, how you doing? I don't know if you know this, but at the very beginning of this stream, I did a shout out to you because I missed your super chat in the last one. So I've addressed your super chat question about the Farseer trilogy. Just letting you know. Make sure you go check that out. Let's see. It's like Harry not casting any spells in the Philosopher's Stone, but at least that's book accurate. Oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Shoot, sorry. I'll read your next one. Here's Scott 2's next one. There's no escape tunnel at Helm's Deep. It's just caves to hide in. In the books, I think they were referring to in the movies. They say that there's a pass that will lead you to the other side. Which even if you could get through there, where are you going to go? You're going to be in the mountains. Not going to be great. Let's see. Rika Lieren. Yay, caught the live stream. Yay, glad to have you here. Sorry, it's kind of closing up because I've been going for 2.5 hours at this point, but we're going to get through this. Okay, I'm going to play a little bit. Okay, they're all cheering because the White Cloaks left because Pad and Fane didn't want to die. Perrin and Fael kiss again. And yay, isn't that wonderful? Egwene's mom's still alive and they hug. Sen Bui is still alive. Some other people are still alive. And then we immediately jump to the next day and they're just cleaning up. No funerals for any dead people? No. Oh, and look, Alana's still alive. The twins have healed her. They figured out how to heal. So they couldn't for a while, but now they can. Okay. And we see that Aram does not get along with his grandma anymore. And Egwene's mother comes over and says, we really need a blacksmith. Why don't you stay here and be our blacksmith? And he seems so thrilled about that. I hope he does not take her up on the offer. All right, scrolling down. I'm only going to pick somebody who I haven't seen or if I get too far and just need to say something. Oh, here we go. Ntando Dolovu. I am so sorry. That is a very difficult name for me to pronounce. Wait, does the show introduce Lord Luke? Yes. He walks into the Wine Spring Inn and has like one line where he goes, I was a hunter for the Horn and I happened to be in town when the White Cloaks arrived. And fortunately, I know how to handle the White Cloaks. And then he doesn't really say anything. He doesn't really do anything. And then in this episode, he shows up and apparently he had been sent to the White Cloaks as a messenger by Perrin and brought Dane back to meet with Perrin. So he had zero role in this show except for just to be an Easter egg, I guess, for everybody. Perrin has not gone into the dream world at all, ever, not at all in any of the seasons. And he has not had any scenes with wolves or encounters with wolves in this season. So I don't even know if he can still do anything wolf brother-y, except that he has yellow eyes. That's it. We did hear the wolf howl at one point, which made me think like, oh, he's gonna, that sound that they've been making for him when he's tapping into his wolfy powers. We heard that sound when he was looking out across the pass to where the Trollocs are supposed to be coming after them, but nothing wolf brothery happened. So I don't know. Okay, going down. Daniel Madar. I read the books. Nice. Oh, somebody was talking to you. This person, Ubelk. So there's your message from Ubelk. I'm going to keep going. Thumb Marilyn says, on Amber's current point, I agree the writing is the most important thing. I would forgive bad choreography, cheap costumes, and sound effects if the story, characterization, and dialogue was on point. You know what's funny is I could actually even be okay with crappy, like, scene by scene dialogue and whatnot if the plot is like mind-blowing. It's got to be pretty mind-blowing. But I can be like, that was an amazing concept. I wish the writing and everything else was better, but it was such a cool concept. But the thing is that this is not a story where we're like, oh, wow, the concept is amazing. This is part of an adaptation, something that already exists. So that is the base by which we are judging this. If it's faithful, and even if you have somebody who comes in and they're not the greatest actor in the world and they play some random role or whatever, you'd kind of forgive that if it's faithful and it's nicely written. But you do eventually cross a point where there's just too much bad and you just cannot tolerate any bad then anymore. So you can forgive only so much. And then once you cross that point, it's like nothing is forgivable anymore. All the stuff I would normally forgive, I'm not forgiving it anymore. I've talked about that in my the threshold of tolerance or something, or I forget what it was. Some other video that I did where I was talking about Moraine and the Rings of Power girl, Galadriel. Mr. Beard should have been animated. Frieren proves fantasy can be done right animated. Frieren's a very different story from this one so far, from what I've gathered of it. I'm only like 20 episodes in. I'm falling asleep during it, but not because it's boring, but because I'm using it as my soother before I fall asleep. So, but it's good. I like the music. I like what they're doing with the characters. I really don't have any complaints so far. Let's see. Clearing the fog. Evidence of Sanderson's comments. Jane's had solid black hair in episode 1 battle, and in episode 6, 9, even Elaine act as if it's always been that. Oh yeah, she has like a white stripe through her hair that magically appears in episode 6, and they are referencing that stripe. Is it 6 or 5? No, it's 3, episode 3. No, 4. I don't know, whatever. When they're like, what does this person look like? Oh, she's got this white stripe in her hair. But the only time Nynaeve and Elaine have ever seen this character, she did not have that white stripe in her hair. So that was so like ridiculous. That is a continuity error, like major, and definitely seems like evidence that they did not have all these episodes written before they filmed them. Zeno, haven't seen one from you in a while. Daniel, the mark isn't on the blade. It is visible while the sword is sheathed, hence how blade masters and others recognize a blade master when they walk in. Otherwise, you'd be in the fight before. Okay. I don't know who you're talking to. Somebody named Daniel in here. Okay, I'm going to hit play. Okay, so we've got Perrin and the gang come into like, here's Loial's book that he started writing at the beginning of this episode. Oh, wait, actually, I think he was writing it in one other episode before this one, but it was like right before this one. And the two Aiel women do this, like, you know, he woke from the dream or whatever, I don't know, the end. And then they're done mourning and they go away. Even though they were they were the closest to him in the whole thing, the whole show. Their relationship with him seemed like it was the closest because Perrin was doing his own stuff and the two of them were constantly hanging on him, wanting to do stuff with him, to the point that he actually learned some of the hand talk, some of the Aiel hand talk. Let's see, going down. Scott 2 gets another one because I missed his special shout out or super chat last time. Scott 2, we need a Peter Jackson lead adaptation. He would absolutely nail the singing, no worries. And thanks for the reply. Oh, good, you got my message. All right, let's see. Oh, yeah, about the Peter Jackson lead adaptation. I don't know what the heck happened to The Hobbit, but I have a feeling it was Warner Brothers who did it. I don't think this was what Peter Jackson did. I don't think that he's responsible for the way The Hobbit turned out. Just my thoughts. I think that unless he's gotten lazy, which I could see, but I don't know. We'll find out, because isn't he, no, wait, he's not the one producing, or he's producing, but I don't think he's like the main producer or something. The new Gollum series that they're going to do, which I don't know why we're doing this. Do we need one? Whatever. Cody A. Sparks. If the show was done by, rather than Amazon, done by somebody competent, I'm guessing you're saying, rather than by Amazon, I guarantee it would have been much better. I feel like they're treating, I think Amazon and Rings of Power were probably at the very, very top level they were being monitored by the same people because they've got a lot of similar issues. I would say Rings of Power has less issues than Wheel of Time, but maybe that's just because they don't have a source material that they're trying to pretend that they are doing, because they're not. Yeah. Okay, going down. Super Peon or Super Peon. Rafe, sorry, I didn't mean to say it Super Peon if that's not the way it's said. Super Peon says, Rafe will fail upward and ruin another IP. Possibly. Unless this ends up becoming a huge financial failure for Amazon, which I believe it most likely will. Going down. Team D, haven't seen one from you in a while. Is the wolf howl the modern version of the Chakotay pan flute? I don't know. I don't even know what that question means. I'm sorry. Is there something I should know about the Chakotay pan flute? Am I even saying that right? Chakotay pan flute? I'm not sure how to say that. Let's see, going down. M, haven't seen one from you. Oh, that's not for me. Sorry, I didn't mean to click on that. M is talking to somebody. Crossfire's talking to somebody. Kane is talking to somebody. Golden Eyes says heron marked blade. The heron is on the blade. But does it show? Isn't there one on the pommel as well? I don't know. Maybe I'm mistaken about that. Zorba Geekman says, oh wait, there was one from Crossfire. I'll get back to you, Zorba. When you say my name, I'm going to click on you more. But sometimes I just see the @ sign because it's not highlighted on my end. So I don't see like, oh, this one's highlighted to me. So I'm sorry if I missed somebody. Since you skipped over that whole chat segment, FYI, Battlefield Earth was a book by L. Ron Hubbard. Devout Scientologist John Travolta made it his pet project. Oh, so Battlefield Earth is getting a adaptation then. Well, that's interesting. We'll see how it turns out. Zorba Geekman. I don't know if Loial knows Maiden Hand Talk. Rather, it was pretty obvious what the gist of it was. Okay, that's a fair point. Fair point. Yeah, I think whatever it was, it didn't look like it was loving or gentle. It looked like it was pretty rough. I'll hit play on this and I'll get back to you, Team D. So here he's looking through Loial's writing, and I don't know if we start getting a monologue. Okay, so the White Cloaks show up and they're like, so we're here to, collect on the deal. You said you would turn yourself in, right? You said you would turn yourself in if we came and fought for you. Well, we came and fought for you. Well, you came and you brought the enemy into our gates, and they did not actually make a deal. Perrin offered it, and Dane refused and ran away. Well, here he's coming to collect on the deal that he didn't exactly make, but I could give them that, except that they brought the enemy within the gates. Oh, whatever. Okay. Anyway, the townsfolk are ready to have another battle, which they should at this point. They were losing to the Trollocs at that point. Anyway, but Perrin is like, hey, nobody fight. I'll go with you guys. I'll turn myself in. And so he lets himself get arrested by the White Cloaks and taken away. And he asks them not to get violent, And then he says something along the lines of, sometimes choosing peace is, what you have to do to make it all stop, or something like that. And and it impresses Aram's mother, the Tuatha lady. And he's gives everybody another look, and then he turns off and he walks with them, and they start shouting, Lord Perrin Golden Eyes, Lord Perrin Golden Eyes. And that's the end of that episode. And that's that. I'll let it replay while I read more. That is the episode. Oh, it's so disjointed, all of this. Oh wait, did I miss somebody? I had Team D. I said I would talk about your thing. Amazon has plenty of good shows. It just depends from crew to crew. Yeah, what's it called was good. Fallout. I loved Fallout. I saw it I think 2 or 3 times I watched it. I enjoyed it a lot. Lieutenant. Is it Lieutenant or Lieutenante? Lieutenante. Okay. really am sad over the fact they have messed up this story so bad, and I highly doubt anyone will ever bother redoing the show as a whole again, it even though it's what it would need to fix the problems. I think it'll be a while before we see another attempt to do that. But yeah, it is quite sad. Fortunately, I know that it's always disappointing, but the books are never going to be changed. Even if this is a poor adaptation, it's almost better that it's a poor adaptation, like so bad and so off, than an almost good adaptation that's like still kind of off. If it was much closer to being good and got done, no adaptation is going to ruin the source material. It's just sad that it's a poor representation, and so a poor introduction to other people. Like, people might watch this show and go, this is bullshit. Why do people love the books? But there will be some people who go, wow, this is cool, it's got some interesting ideas, I'm going to go read the books. That's the best you can hope for from something like this. I just feel weird padding underneath my desk. It's weird. Why is that there? I'd never noticed that was there before. Okay. Let's see. Scrolling down a bit more. Golden eyes. Herons were often on the scabbard and pommel, but the blade themselves had the heron on the blade. Okay, there you go. Argument solved. I think that's actually accurate. That sounds right to me. Clearing the fog says, why did Dane even return at all? How about why did he leave at all? Wasn't he there with the town when they chased the Trollocs out? What, are they going to go back to their little tent? Isn't that where the Trollocs would have gone first? Like, hey, let's go steal some food from this White Cloak camp that's out over here. I don't know. Okay. Whitey says, LOL, Aram, the exiled tinker being offered the blacksmith job, as if you don't need years of training as an apprentice before being in any way productive. That is a great point. Yes. Oh my gosh. What's he going to do? He's going to apprentice to the other 2 apprentices. They need 3 blacksmiths in this town. Tarek T to me says, have you ever watched Dark on Netflix? 3 seasons, one of the best shows of all time. I won't spoil anything. Is that the German show? Was it German or something like that? My sister watched it and she said the same thing. Says it's really, really good and you have to watch it. So I'll have to give that a try. Isn't that where they go into like a cave and there's like some sort of a time shift or something that has happened in this cave? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of a different show. X525 Crossfire says, Battlefield Earth was already made back in the 90s. It is one of the most notorious box office bombs ever. Oh, ouch. That's rough. The Astilicis, sorry, says, yeah, she never heard of it. It's almost 30 years old. Yeah, I haven't heard of it, if you're talking about that one. How far behind am I? Oh, I'm not that far behind in the messages. Yay, I'm getting caught up. Drew ID says, golden. Oh, never mind. Not talking to me. Cat, though, wine yogi. You've been here since the beginning. Good job. Loved Fallout. We also enjoyed Silo on Apple. I've watched all of the Foundation that's out. And I have watched the first 5-6-ish episodes of Silo. I think it's off to a really great start. Really enjoy it. Not perfect, but still like enjoyable enough that I don't care about the things that are not consistent in it, because there was very few things. It was mostly very, very good. If you're on Apple, check out Severance. The second season is so satisfying. Like, it's not a mystery that goes on forever, just in case you're wondering that. It does have answers. And I think Severance might be the highest quality overall production as a show that I have seen in a very long time. As far as science fiction goes, this is a science fiction bordering on fantasy, but science fiction, I think, in the end, thriller. And it's just so good. I hope people will watch that show and learn from it, because it is very, very well done. Don't ask yourself, what is it about? Just give the first episode a try. And then if you're still confused about how things are working, watch the beginning of the second episode and you'll be like, oh, anyway, that was how I kind of was. Let's see. Clearing the fog. Fallout is fantastic. I've played the games and I love it. My family, I mean, my siblings, that is, have played it and they love it. And they loved the show too. Andrew Rose, Silo is rad. It is. I'm enjoying it. I've heard the second season's not as great as the first, but whatever. I don't know. Is the show done? Because maybe it just left it unfinished. I don't know. Astylesis. Fallout and Reacher are two good Amazon adaptations. So it isn't Amazon. Yeah, I think it's so. What I learned about Netflix is that they're essentially branches that are rather independent of each other, and they are in charge of specific kinds of shows. So, like, there'll be something for these are just for kids shows, or this is just for like the whole family could basically enjoy this shows, and this is for like strictly adults shows, and this is for like strictly comedy shows. Like, there are individuals who are in charge of those shows. They are like the top person in charge of those particular shows, but then they answer to even higher people. It's just like a constant tree, it seems like. But so I'm guessing Amazon is structured in a similar way, and this obviously fell under the hand of somebody who's not particularly competent at making sure that quality work is being done as far as adaptations and fantasy is concerned. But yeah, some of those other ones, like Fallout was great. I thought Fallout was so good. I thought it was funny. It had great special effects. It was adventurous. It had moments that were scary. Like, it had a little bit of everything. Like, I really enjoyed the overall feel and production of Fallout. I thought it was good. But I do wonder what they're going to do, because the big mystery is kind of done. Like, the big mystery's over. Now what? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what they're going to do. Team D, I doubt they redo Wheel of Time. They'll just try their luck with a less tarnished fantasy IP. Probably. Maybe just do something original. Somebody out there's got to have original story. Leave the adaptations alone for a little bit, I think. Paul Z, my bet is that if season 4 becomes a thing, Perrin will take Fael's place as a prisoner, where he'll learn to dream and slay while she helps rescue him from the White Cloaks. My bet is that if season 4 becomes a thing, Perrin will take Fael's place as a prisoner. No. Perrin turned himself in and became a prisoner of the White Cloaks. A little confused. Maybe I'm not sure what you're doing here. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what you meant by that, Palsy. Derek Lucas. To be honest, Alana Warders were Ivan and Owain. Maxime was added, and the actor is either married or dating Judkins, so that's why he dominated all these scenes. Yep. I think so earlier in this stream we were talking about how this is clearly a vanity project, and he's a big benefactor of the vanity. Fadion says Fallout and Vox Machina are the only thing I've seen on Amazon that is decent. Really has been a poor service, to say max for sure. Max's what do you call it? Dune Prophecy was a bit of a disappointment. That's the first time I think I've been disappointed in a Max production in a while. The plot was good, the characters were interesting, but the dialogue was written for teenagers. It was so bad. The dialogue was so bad. I really hope that they fix that for season 2 if they get a season 2. But the production value was gorgeous. I mean, it was a beautiful show. They did such a good job. Team D, The Boys on Amazon is really good. Not everyone's cup of tea, but very well done. I've seen, I think, the first season of The Boys, but I kind of lost interest only because, not because it was bad or anything. I thought it was still good, but I don't gravitate towards stories that are so negative like that, I guess. I mean, and here I am watching this version of Wheel of Time. Well, I didn't think it was going to turn out to be this, and then it ended up being one of the shows that people really liked me reviewing, so I stuck with it. I'm sticking with it for you guys. Let's see. Andrew Rose says, speaking of figs, anybody remember figs and mice? Figs and mice? Is that a thing? My grandfather had a fig tree in his backyard, so I used to eat figs every summer. It was great. Just pick them right off and eat them. Clearing the fog. LOL, also a good question. Let's retreat to our tiny undefeated campsite. Yeah. For some reason, the Trollocs didn't touch it. Donald Gooch says, dark is dark. Okay. Do you mean dark as in depressing, or dark as in it takes place in a cave? I think it's that one about the cave. I don't know. Maybe I'm forgetting or thinking of something else. I didn't finish whatever that was, and I forget why. Andrew Rose says, tinkers traditionally repaired metal stuff, which is part of blacksmithing. Okay. But see, they didn't show that at all in the show. Like, that's a good, I do remember this from the books, but they did not build that up in the show. Like, they should have been like, yeah, we're selling this thing, you know, I made this. And then we would have, you know, even earlier in this episode, he could have offered something to help somebody with something, you know, and like, I'm like, wow, I've never seen anything like this. I made it. And then that's all it would have taken. Maybe that was there somewhere in here and they cut it. I don't know. I think they do a lot of cutting in this show. Robert Cabus, thank you for the $5. The reason behind offering Aram the blacksmith position is because Tinkers made metal pots in the books. Not sure if that was established in the show. Sorry. Yes, it was not established that he does that at all. Never, not once. So yeah, it was definitely, so the comment I made about them cutting stuff in the show is that they do cut, I think, a lot. I think that they cut whole scenes out, but they also cut specific lines and dialogue out. To me, it would make sense that that's what's going on when a lot of the dialogue doesn't connect very well. Like, it doesn't have this continuous progression. And also why sometimes people seem to talk about things as if things have happened off screen or whatever, and we didn't see them. Let's see. I'm going to skip a few here. Paul Z says, the darkness in the TV series is symbolic for Rafe's dim understanding of the source material. Good one. Hawksmore 42, I'm becoming a blacksmith. It's no problem. We'll just have Perrin teach. Oh, wait. Oops. Andrew Rose. I think that actually, though, we did solve that mystery. It's just that the show failed to establish anything. Like, Tinkers know how to do metalsmithing. They did not do that. Andrew Rose, Foundation is an example of a show that is far better than the books. I wouldn't say, okay, I have not finished reading the books, but I've always known what they are. And it's my grandmother's favorite book series. And they're just very, very different from the show. I don't think you could adapt the books exactly the way that they're written. And I mean, like, most of the books are basically people just sitting there talking about things that have happened throughout history. And what the show is doing is showing those events happening and walking us through them. So giving characters very distinct personalities and personal dramas and things like that, taking a lot of liberties, but still following, at least as far as I've gotten, following the books closely. I did hear that there's some stuff in season 2 that was not accurate to the book, so I haven't gotten that far in the books yet, but the quality is so good. Can I just say, the intro music to Foundation is so delightful to me. So if you've ever heard like Jerry Goldsmith as a composer, hit play on this again. I kind of get vibes like that. There's something very, I got to think of a good word for this. And I'm so bad at coming up with words on the spot. They usually come to me when I'm like falling asleep and I'm like, that's the word I meant. But that it's a very unique sound that was made for this, for Foundation, the intro song. So I love that. And I just love the production value is in every single frame in that show. And also it has that actor, the one who plays Empire. I don't know his name, but I've been in love with him for like 20 years. So anyway, okay. Let's move on. He looks gorgeous in blue. Just saying. Going down, Tarek T says, yes, you are thinking of exactly dark German show, etc. Since you are a fan of intelligent script and writing, it's on the level of Severance, by the way. Really? Okay. Now I'm very intrigued because, man, I was sucked into Severance. I was in. That first episode ended and I was like, never walking away from this until it's done. And I didn't. Finished season 1 in 2 days, which is pretty outrageous for me. I don't do binging that often. Aldan. I did Severance and I did Silo the first 5 episodes. I binged them because I had time and I had to I was like, I'm just going to sit and watch. I could not be editing. And I kind of step away from the editing every once in a while. Aldan says, Robert, brother, mending pots does not a blacksmith make. It's a ridiculous thing for them to even consider. That, yeah, I guess that's actually pretty accurate. But they could have done something to say, no, they can't. How can he do any blacksmithing when they're constantly on the move? Where's his forge? Anyway. Okay, so that we have reached that stage in the argument of Aram becoming a blacksmith. There's no forge. What now? Like, where's the counter to that argument? Magister 348 says Loial equals Kenny from South Park. Prepare for and return without explanation from a death at least once per season. I might have to steal that for my video. Thank you, Magister. If I forget to say thank you in those videos, just know that it's coming from me now here. Severance is a banger, says Andrew Rose. Yes, it is. I am obsessed with that show. It was so well done. Excusez-moi. And I know I've said it in other streams, but I really think that Ben Stiller is a jewel in the area of production, and not for shows or movies like The Cable Guy or Tropic Thunder, or Zoolander. Although I loved Zoolander. It's hilarious in a very stupid way. I think that he's an artist, and he is not given that opportunity very often, but this might be. So my patrons know I really love Walter Mitty. If you've not seen Walter Mitty, it is a special, special movie. I went and saw that in theaters when it came out because I'm a fan of the Walter Mitty story, and I saw the trailer for it and I was like, this looks different. And I was not disappointed. It is not an adaptation of the short story itself that it was based off of, but it is in the same spirit, and it's got similar themes. And it's just beautiful. It is such a beautiful film, and it is charming, and it is heartfelt, and it is fun. But the beauty in it, I think, was the first time I was like, I think Ben Stiller is an artist. I think he really knows what he's doing behind the camera. I think he knows what he wants, and he knows how to get it. And Severance was like the perfect example. Like, how hard must it have been to have turned, and I know that he would have relied heavily on his cinematographer for this, but he would have been the one to know to go and get this person, because I know that he's very much involved in every aspect of Severance. Like, he was assisting the writer in writing the show, and I know that he was specific about what he wanted visually for this, because if you see in the beginning of Walter Mitty especially, pay attention to the cinematography. It's like basically the same that we get in Severance throughout the whole thing. But Walter Mitty is like very much close to my heart. I love, love, love that movie. Okay, going down. And just so you know, there was as little special effects CGI wise as possible in that movie, and it was all shot on film. I know all the behind the scenes stuff on the Walter Mitty thing because I was like, I love this. I want this to be constant in my life. I want to always love this movie, and I don't have to want to. I just do. Anyway, gotta move on. Paul Z. Ooh, I bet Aram will hit on Fail while Parrot is waiting. Maybe that would be hilarious. Oh my gosh. Mule, hey, how's it going? Let's see. Sven Dragon. All right, we got to end this soon because now I've gone for 3 hours. Sven Dragon says, Severance is great. Some weird decisions towards the end of season 2. But I don't think that nothing was, none of the things that happened. Okay, are you talking about the 2 long episodes? That was my only complaint, because there were 2 episodes in the middle, and middle towards the end of Severance, that I was like, you could have done these both together. But when you have so few complaints about the writing and the production and everything going on, at that point, I was like, okay, go ahead. You want to take your time with this, and it's not the greatest decision for entertainment, but you've sort of earned it at this point. And the finale for me, you can end the story of Severance where the story ended. I feel like all the mystery questions have been answered. The only question remaining is, what would happen? What will happen next? Can anything happen next? And they almost sort of answered those questions already. Remember when they were sitting there talking and he was working on the computer and she was saying, but I'm her. that to me says we know exactly what happened after this. There is nothing. They're not going to spoil it for anyone. If you have not seen Severance, do not look up what it is. You will have the best experience if you watch, especially that first episode and the beginning of the second episode, with no information whatsoever. And I promise you, by the end of season 2, you've got the answers that you want. And the season 1 finale was great too. Okay, going down. Kane Legion. We're gonna finish this off. So everybody start making your goodbyes, because we're gonna do this. So I'm gonna do this till the end, but let's start saying our farewells. Kane Legion finally managed to get the entire book collective of Asimov's Foundation plus the robot universe. Nice. I just recently was thinking about, so it's sort of off topic, but yeah, I got the Asimov Foundation trilogy on audiobook. I do most of my pleasure reading off of audiobook because I spend too much time reading text. I don't want to read more text because I do manuscript editing. But I just thought about, I in high school, I had to read the C.S. Lewis did a space trilogy, and I had to read book 2. They did not give us book 1. They made us read book 2 for high school. And I was like, why am I reading book 2 when there's a book 1? I should be reading that. Right. I want to read the whole thing. I don't know if I'll ever have the time, but that was just in my head. Anyway, just saying that. Ooh, Belk. The problem with Reacher is the writers directors follow cookie cutter how to make a TV show, and it is horribly predictable. Predictability is not bad if it's executed well. Like the characters are so enjoyable, not executed well. I should say that everything else is very enjoyable. Like if the dialogue is still pretty fun, the characters are really intriguing. Like you want to see exactly how they handle a situation you know is going to happen. Predictability is not always bad. I can predict the ending of most of the stories that are handed to me or that I sit down and watch. Very rarely am I going, I have no idea where this is going. Severance, by the way, is one of those shows that I was like, I have no idea where this is going. And I think it was maybe by the 4th episode I started suspecting what was going on, but I really didn't feel like I knew for sure until the finale of season 2. So anyway, and it definitely threw me curveballs. The finale of season 1, I was not expecting some of the big reveals that we get, because they did such a good job at drawing your attention elsewhere that you didn't even ask any questions about this other thing. And then suddenly this other thing is right in front of your face and you're like, I didn't even know I should be thinking about that. And holy crap, that makes perfect sense. Everything makes sense. Oh my gosh. Oh, so good. Severance was so good. Sorry. Just feels so good to get a good story. Just like, it's such a satisfying feeling. Trying to get out of that. Oh, what did I do? Oh, play history. I love that we're just talking about better TV shows now. Yes, me too. Love that also. That was a good one. That was good play history. BW. I was floored with how good Severance is. The ending of the first season was so good. Can't wait till I watch the rest. Should we just do a Severance stream like later? We should maybe do that, because I actually filmed a Severance video and I started editing it, but then I had so many problems with Wheel of Time, I had to keep going with that. And so I put it aside. So I've got a Severance video just sitting there, and I'm talking about how Severance has mastered the art of showing instead of telling. That first episode and up to the title credits, or the beginning title sequence of episode 2 is like 100% showing instead of telling. Nothing in that show is ever told to you. And it is never where you're sitting there going like, what are they trying to imply here? You're not ever asking yourself that. You're solving a mystery, but when information is revealed, it is never just like, here is what's going on in Severance, by the way. Like the first episode, you're going, why did she go out the door and then come in through the door? Like what is going on? The way that it is done is so that the audience is experiencing what the characters are experiencing. Exactly the right character. You are experiencing the moment with the character who has the next bit of information that you need in order to experience what they are experiencing. I'm not going to give any more than that, but it is so well done. It's the best show. Severance might be one of the best science fiction shows I've ever seen, ever. Execution being like top tier. Let's see. Kane Legion. Like, I literally cannot think of a better show than Severance that I have seen. Can you think of a better science fiction show than Severance? Can you think of one that's better production quality wise? Like, and I'm not talking about like the visuals are beautiful, but like the writing was good, the performances were good, the concept was super original. I can't think of one better. Okay. Let's see. Like, overall, it was just so good. Kane Legion says Foundation is the Lord of the Rings for sci-fi. Agreed. That is, I think, why my grandmother loved it so much. Not that she was like a huge Lord of the Rings fan, but I think she just loved the different ideas that were explored in Foundation. But yeah, I think it's pretty much regarded as the Lord of the Rings for science fiction. Let's see. It's a bit more grown up though. I don't think that kids can really appreciate it for what it is. Cat the Wine Yogi. I felt that way about Altered Carbon. Once I rewatched it, everything was so clear. Yeah, I've watched, I think, the first season of Altered Carbon, I've watched quite a bit of Altered Carbon. I remember liking it. Why did I not finish that show? Paul Z. I've heard you like Blacksmith's file. Look at my buff arms. Nice. I like that. I didn't click on you. Paul Z. That's what Paul Z just said. I was just reading it before I even bothered to click on it. The Astylicis. Reacher books are cookie cutter. And I've heard that they're pretty faithful to the books. Are they? Philip Griesel, the Expanse books show are both good if you ever want to do a comparison series again. Yeah, I've heard mostly that the show is great. Recently some people told me actually the ending's not so good. What do you mean? I've been hearing from mostly everybody, but maybe it's, I don't know, who knows. The quality is very good. I've started that show several times and never finished it. And you know what? I think I read I Am Legion like back when it came out. That's what it is. It I Am Legion? No, it's not. Legion, something, whatever. No, what am I thinking? Where's my brain going? I think I've read the first book of The Expanse a long time ago. I don't know why the word Legion is stuck in my head when I think about that book series. But anyway, okay. We're wrapping this up. We're wrapping it up. Tarek T. Apple has lots of great shows. Silo season 2 to me was better than 1. Really? Foundation is, I think, the best of the bunch. The Changeling is also intriguing. The Changeling? What's that? Cody A. Sparks, have you seen Invincible? I've only seen the first season and thought it was great, and everyone said it's pretty faithful to its source material. So I saw the first, I think, couple of episodes of Invincible, and I enjoyed it. But I think it's sort of like how what's it called? The Boys. It's not quite at that level for me. It didn't quite get me as far as like being, oh, this is super cool concept that I want to understand, but it's got that darker twist to the superhero tropes that you typically see. And I do have an issue with the animation. I think that the story probably deserves a better quality animation than what it received. It's unfortunate they didn't get that. I don't know. Maybe people love it. I don't. Do you guys like the way that it looks? For me, I was a little bit like, come on, guys. This is an adult story. Let's give it some mature animation. And it was just kind of like, sort of like how Family Guy is, except trying to look like one of the old 90s superhero cartoons, which I liked those. Cody A. Sparks says, oh yeah, I already said that. Sorry. Moving on. Ubelk says, you can't expect much from pulp writers. Pulp writers. Is that what we're talking about? What's it called? Reacher, I think is what you're talking about. Zorba Geekman, I like Silo, but a lot of how things work break my brain. I kind of have to shut off my critical thinking, but at least unlike Rings of Power or Wheel of Time, at least the show and characters are good. I just want to know what, like, are the people who go and clean, do they actually get away and we just think they die? Or do they really die? And if they do, like, I love the mystery. I don't want to avoid the mystery so long. Like, hurry up, lady. Solve this mystery with this stupid hard drive. Like, what's out there? I really want to get to what's out there. I hope that they're not holding off on telling us for too long. Tark T, The Boys, although losing steam, I would categorize as a good adaptation. Okay. I did know that it was an adaptation. I have never seen or been exposed to the source material. Kane Legion, Fallout is not an adaptation. It's a narrative expansion of the Fallout universe, much like Arcane was for League of Legends. Yeah, I was aware of that. My sister and brother and my brother-in-law, they've all played the game and they love it and they loved the show. They said that it was a good representation of, like, there's some quirkiness to the games, but also there's this adventure of like discovering a whole new world each time that you go out into one of the shelters or the Fallout vaults or whatever. I'm not sure how it works, but they were very excited when they saw that, oh, it looks like season 2 is going to be Las Vegas. So Las Vegas is supposed to be something spectacular, I guess. Robert Cabus, the real problem is by offering this position to Aram, they confirmed that the village hasn't had a blacksmith since Perrin left, which would never work for this kind of village. Yep. Drew ID, The Sword in the Pen Reflections. I tried so hard to like this adaptation. I'm a massive book fan too, but this episode was just so wasteful for the whole series plot. I just can't give it any more time. Oh, come on. There's only one more episode. You can watch one more episode. I'm going to watch them and I'll let you guys know how it goes, but it might be a while before I get that season finale video out. All right, we're finishing off. Everybody, we're saying goodbye now. Stan says, Stan, I can't say your last name. I'm sorry, Stan. You got to tell me. Get in the Discord and tell me how to pronounce your last name so I get it right next time. I like watching shows that are adaptations of IP. I don't know. I think it's harder to enjoy adaptation in general. Of IPs you don't know, I guess. Okay, so you like watching adaptations of stories that you're not familiar with. I get that. Yeah, well, I like when it introduces me to a story and I'm like, oh, I want to know this story now. Like, dude, if Severance had a source material, I'd be like, I am reading that now. I am halting Wheel of Time because Severance, the show, really was so amazing. Okay. Robert Cabus, too many spoilers being discussed here. Oh, are people book spoilers? That is a spoiler. What are you talking about? Play History says the comment from @PaulZ is book spoiler. What did Paul Z say? I don't remember what Paul Z said, so I'm not going to go back and read it. Sorry. @GoldenEye says, knock it off with the spoilers. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what they were talking about. Who was talking about what? Just don't touch Malazan, Book of the Fallen. Isn't Malazan super complex? That's on my list. Everybody talks about it and they're like, oh, it's so good. It's like such a complex world and story. I'm really interested in that one. Paul Z. My bad. LOL. Paul Z said he's sorry. We can all drop it. What the? Okay, there we go. Donald Gooch. Sorry. For some reason, I kept on fidgeting with your message here. Says it's a spoiler. Andrew Rose says, will you continue reviewing the books if the show stops? Yeah, I will. I definitely will. And it'd probably be just me giving reaction because most books, other than maybe saying, oh, we spent a lot of time here and it was a bit slow, maybe we could have sped things up, which I think will happen with books 7, 8, and 9. Isn't that the slog that people talk about? But books tend to have better construction than shows because it is going through a more rigorous editing process. And I don't think, even though I know everybody's like, oh, but Harriet, Robert Jordan's wife, was his main editor. I doubt she was the only one who did any editing on this book. If it was published by a big publisher, there's usually multiple eyes looking at these before they make it to print. Sven Dragon, Malazan is god tier. Everybody lists it as like the top level complexity storytelling in fantasy, epic fantasy. Donald Gooch. Good cue, Andrew. Oh, that, yes, about the continuing, yes. Zorba Geekman says, Expanse was taken over by Amazon and is absolutely brilliant how an adaptation should be done. Okay. Was the Expanse the earlier seasons, was that Amazon as well? No, it wasn't, because they were doing that before Amazon started producing its own shows, I think. The delivery of Dune Prophecy was underwhelming, but Travis Fimmel is always fun to watch. Which one is he? Was he the guy with the eyes? I don't remember who he is. I don't know. I'm very bad with names. In case y'all didn't catch on yet, I'm terrible with names. That was from Crossfire, by the way. Donald Gooch. When I was a teenager, I hated dialogue written for teenagers. Most people, children too, are more intrigued by something that is written above what their own current level is. Like they will rise to just a little bit above, not a lot above, just a little bit above. Even my toddler niece is an example of this. She's not yet 2, cannot string more than 4 words together in a sentence. Like she's just now getting to 4 words in a sentence. And most of them are funny, like eggies are coming. That's how she says she wants eggs for breakfast. Well, it's not how she says she wants them. That's when she sees that they're being cooked for her. She loves scrambled eggs. Eggies are coming. That's all she can say. Like that's the extent of a sentence. But she got tired of like dancing fruit and little baby stuff. Even Bluey, which is actually a pretty decently well written show. Bluey is the only kids little kids show that I have watched on my own and been totally interested in. Like I loved it. But she's moved on to Miyazaki movies and How to Train Your Dragon. She's not even 2 yet, but she can understand the feelings of what's happening. Like when she sees the babies are at the end of the 3rd movie of How to Train Your Dragon are having a great time flying on Toothless's back with their dad and he's flying around with them. She gets so excited at those parts. Like she's like jumping out of her seat because the babies are happy, you know, or when the dragon is attacking, what's his name? Hiccup. I'm talking about the ending, the like, you know, many years later, I brought my children to go see that there were dragons, that bit. When the dragon is like attacking Hiccup at first, she's like, oh no. And then the dragon jumps on her and is licking him and like, I love you. And she's like, so funny, silly dragon. She says dragon. And in Howl's Moving Castle, by the way, she calls the castle a dragon castle. Nobody told her that's a moving castle or a dragon castle. We said that's a castle and she went dragon castle. Little baby brains are so funny to see them develop. They're just like constantly learning. Sorry, off track. I could talk about my niece forever. Sven Dragon says Expanse was good, then focused on the wrong areas. I'm gonna sneeze. Excusez-moi. And I've heard that the ending is a bit rough. Ulbelk says, I think mediocre fantasy novels are easier to adapt because it is easy to take a cool idea and then do better than the original source. Shadow and Bone, the first season, was better than the book. And I think a lot of people agree with that. That is what it could be. Donald Gooch says, yes. All right. I don't know what you're saying yes to. I'm sorry. I'm so far behind. Oh my gosh, I'm really far behind. We're closing this up. We're ending this. Okay, I'm just going to speed through this. Donald Gooch says Booth. Daniel Faden says the Dune show was doomed from the beginning based on material from The Sun and Kevin Anderson. The shots on it were on fire, though. Oh, you mean the visuals? Yeah, the visuals were really good. Oh, here's somebody I've never seen before. Hadari Yao says they do establish it in the show, but it's as she's offering him the job. Oh, the bit here you're following up. The bit about him being a blacksmith. So they established that he could blacksmith before, I think. A bit too early, too little, too late for some, but it's there. Yeah, I think it was too little, too late. I'm skipping a bunch. Perry Wolf, thank you for the tip, $5. All we got was Marin Alvear saying just before to Aram, tinkers are known to mend pots. Yes, we need a new blacksmith. You interested? Okay, that's right. That is what she says. That is what she said. Yeah, that does sound familiar to me now. I've only watched this episode like once before, so I jumped in on Prophet of the Dragon's review of it to complain about it immediately after I watched it. But I haven't watched it since. But yeah, okay. But see, that is a little too late. It's just awkward. It was like she had to say that so she could offer him a position as a blacksmith. Why couldn't she have just said, thank you for saving our children. You can have a place. You know, anybody who will fight for our children has a home here with us. That's all she had to say. Tarek T says, Lee Pace is magnetic. Yes, he is. He's amazing. I'm in love with him. Andrew Rose, the way women are written in Foundation is just friggin' nuts. I know people might be annoyed with woke overreach, but in the case of Foundation, it was totally called for. I have not reached the part in the books where I need to like can have an opinion about how the women are written by now I'm losing the name. Oh my gosh, the guy who wrote Foundation. But it's a very interesting female character so far. Hadar, exactly. It's not much, but the exposition is there. They have established, and it, albeit in the moment, 3 seasons too late. Yes. Okay. Got to skip ahead. So sorry, people. We're getting to the end. Everyone start saying goodbye, please. Tarek T says, Ben Stiller has an underrated career overall. Dude has been intriguing for decades. Yes, he has. I think everybody thinks of him as the comedy guy, but he's so much more than that, I think. Perry Wolf says, no Severance spoilers, Ambers. I have 2 more episodes to go in season 2. Just watch them. No more. Don't worry. I don't spoil nothing. I don't think I spoiled anything. I think you're good. Golden Eyes. I'm just randomly clicking stuff. Thank you. It was fun. You're welcome. And thank you. It was fun. The Night Rider says, considering the Saldean people are at least partially based on Highlanders of Caucasus? I've never said that word aloud. I've read it a bunch of times, but how do you say that word aloud? This abomination of Fail should be considered a failure to deliver real diversity. Well, I don't remember, like, let me read that again. Considering that Saldeans people are at least partially based on Highlanders of this abomination of Fail should be considered a failure to deliver real diversity. I guess. I don't know. I haven't, to me, at this point, complaining about the casting is like, what? There's so much wrong in the writing. It's hard to even be caring about anything else at this point. Rika Laren says, the only reason I want to have season 4 is to watch Amber and her reflections. Thanks. That was very nice of you, actually. Bakaza says, hey, yo, glad I could make it. I haven't been able to justify paying for a subscription after Amazon releases such poo-poo. Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. Glad you could make it too. I do wish that they would do some better quality productions, because now my family has actually forked over the money to get past their stupid commercials. We were just tired of them. But we have like 3 households that share one account. So anyway. Lutelente. I'm just randomly picking stuff now. To be frank, with the Expanse, the show was run by book writers. Oh, it was. I did not know that. That's maybe why it turned out so well. Not always the case, but possibly a strong contributing factor. For KTS to Nowhere, for Carrots to Nowhere, what is KTS? I don't know what KTS units are. Watch both seasons of Silo. Have not read the books yet. Yeah, I'm enjoying him so much. I actually thought, should I do this read and compare thing again? But I don't think I'm going to have the time. Let's see. Somebody I haven't picked on in a while. Scrolling down still. Who's this? Jeremy Vaneman. Maria Simmons was Robert Jordan's continuity editor from the start all the way to beyond the end of the series. She's amazing. Alan Romanzik was his editor too. Okay, so yes, he had a team. Yeah, most traditional publishing houses have at least 3, sometimes as many as 5 separate people who put eyeballs on the manuscripts before they make it to print. And it's not all at once. It's one at a time. Going down. Prater's Inn, haven't heard from me. Isaac Asimov. Yes, thank you. Some names just escape me sometimes. It happens. Ulbelk says, Terry Brooks is post-apocalyptic. When you are using magic, riding horses, and fighting with swords, you are in standard medieval fantasy. Terry Brooks. I don't know what we're referring to of his at this point. I can't put IPs to authors' names half the time, too. This is part of my problem. Thank you, Drew ID and BW and Sarah Farnley. Thank you and goodbye. Acronite. Far removed it is from that fall. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I was about to say, while it could technically be considered post-apocalyptic since it falls under a fall of society, it is not in the typical vein of most post-apocalyptic genres, just simply because of it is far removed it is from that fall. Yeah, agree. And I think we're talking about Foundation, right? I think we are. Warlock 000 says, can't wait for you to finish your current Wheel of Time book. It's a banger. And it might be a while after the show, just because I just don't have any time during the show. But anyway. All right, we're really skipping down far now till I get to like the current whatever. Oh, that's not for me. Hadori Yao says, I didn't call people gross. I called the behavior gross. You guys must be having another discussion. Niet Zies says, Terry Brooks, Sword of Shannara. Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. I did not read the Sword of Shannara, but I know it. I mean, I think I might have read the first book a long time ago, but I did try watching the show, and it turned out to be a little too young for me, I think. Whitey says, Terry Brooks, Shannara series. Okay, thank you. Akronlight says, no Wheel of Time. Oh, were you talking? Oh, you were talking about the Wheel of Time being far removed from the post-apocalyptic. Okay, I get it. Wow, it's so nice to be talking to people immediately after they post stuff. Sounds like we have a Redditor here. I don't know who you're talking about. Thanks for the stream, Amber. Hope to catch you on the White Cloak prediction one. Take care, all. Yeah, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Going to be on my channel again with another live stream. The White Cloaks are going to help and basically run the stream for me on my channel, which is very kind of them. We're going to be doing predictions for the season finale, and we'll be putting them up into a bingo card. It should be good. Should be good. Thumb Marilyn says, oh yeah, we already did that one. Robert Cabus says, have a good evening. Great stream as usual. Thank you for coming, Robert. Thank you so much. Donald Gooch. Yep, another banger stream, SMP. Well, thank you very much. It wouldn't be fun without all of you folks here. Augustine says, thanks for watching Wheel of Time so I don't have to. You make it bearable. Thanks and good night. Thank you for coming here. Net. That name. To all, fare thee well till we meet again. Very eloquent. Kane Legion says, bye y'all. And I have caught up and I am closing the comments for myself. I cannot see them anymore. So thank you so much, folks. Glad to have had you here. Again, do not forget tomorrow. So just, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, 15 hours away from now, I'll be on here again with a bunch of angry dudes who do not like the show. No, they're all lovely dudes, but they're definitely angry at the show. But we'll be having fun with our predictions. So that's it. Talk to you later, folks.
Please like, subscribe, and comment, even if it's just with an emoji. It's a free way for you to support this channel. Or if you're feeling super generous, check out my Patreon, Ko-fi, or hit the money heart thanks button down below. You can become a subscriber or leave me a one-time tip. Anything is much appreciated. Be good to yourself.